he's one of these singer Samoan. So he looks like he's young. You know, he's but he's very, very polite. And
oh, nice, bro.
The ladies love Brett.
Nice.
So thank you, Eddie, for coming on to our podcast.
Oh, it's a pleasure. It's good to be here. Looking forward for a while since,
But you know what? Like before you came on the mics, before Isaiah showed up, man, you're describing to me what you've been up to. The last
bro.
3 months making the studio.
Yeah, recording studio. I've planned that for such a long time. You know, because I've been so busy with other stuff, family stuff, and church stuff, and your normal. So I had to sort of put this aside. But we went to Australia 3 years. Come back in 2017. I thought, oh, what shall I do now? What shall I do as a job? You know, as we come back. So one of my goals on my bucket list was to be a bus driver.
Hey,
you know,
my dad, he always tells me, go, you know, he keeps pushing me. I'm like, hey, man, I've been on my job for 17 years. I'm pretty sure you know, it's like, nah, you know, go over there. It's good money and you get to, you know. Yeah. So, I can see why, because my dad's always been
I
big
remember
fan.
I remember when I was about 6 years old, always keep an eye on the bus driver, change that's when they had those buses with the thing that sticks on the wire and all that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's how old it was.
Oh.
The dinosaur buses, and then I'll sit there and just watch the bus driver, do his thing. So come home and turn the pram upside down, get the wheel, put a stick in the ground and start, and then I thought, man, I always want to be a bus driver since then. So I did that. And did that for about 1 month, done my back. Done my back. I was in lumber on my back, and I was off for about 6 months. So in there, I started to put everything together, because I had the time. And now my kids are sort of grown up. They've turned around and said, Dad, look, you rest. Now, you've done your hard yards, you rest now, and we'll take over. We'll pay the bills and all that sort of stuff. And that's when I just started church. Just started doing our own church and that sort of thing. Because go and concentrate on the word and the message and all that stuff, and to do what you want to do while we go out and we'll take over from there. So that gave me plenty of time now to see where I was, see what I wanted to do, and I always wanted to do a recording studio. Always wanted to do that. And then just in time, I rang up my friend, Farani. Real man, talented, knows how to put things together, the sound, the system, and all that sort of stuff. So he came in, and then about three weeks ago, everything came together. Everything, we tried it out, done the mastering and all that, and then we all set to go. So, just answer your question, bro. I just had to take it back then. Yes, and I've always wanted to help people, especially with the music. And so I thought to myself, if we can do something, because music artists, some of them, they want to do recordings, they want to do it MTV, but because of the money factor, it's very expensive now, and that's what holds them back, and then they forget about it, and they're sitting with a gold, the gift of music, whether it's singing, whether it's playing instrumental. So I came up with a little system. I thought, we'll find someone to pay for it. How's that? You guys come in, do your stuff, I'll record it, and we'll find someone to sponsor it. So I came up with a plan that if someone wanted to do a record and an MTV and even a podcast, just a little interview on, where they're going from there, what they want to do with the music. And then that's where we get the sponsor to come in and sponsor it. So if I say, okay, it's a $500 package, we go look for little businesses. They come on board, and then whatever we do with the artist, we take the sponsor with us. We advertise through social media and all that stuff. So I'm sure the sponsor will get a lot of exposure especially through social media and all that sort of stuff. So that's the goal of the recording studio, is to, my motto is to create opportunities for success. And that's for our people that are very talented, but because of the money factor, now they can get a chance to record, and put themselves out there. We don't know who's watching.
They're like a one-stop shop.
Like a one-stop, yeah.
So you offer every. It's like if you compare it to a garage, you go and and you do everything like servicing, like you service, like the way you service a car, right? But what you're also doing is that you're taking the stress off them, mate.
That's right. Yeah.
That's because, like you said, it's intimidating for people. Like when you think of the recording, you think of all those movies, or there's you hear about people getting being charged like so much money and X amount, and they're not getting their masters and stuff like that.
Yes.
So it's good to know that there's a model out there where there's someone who actually cares about it's not for them, but it's for you to have an opportunity. Yeah. That's awesome.
It is. It's just giving them opportunity. That's I mean, I was in that situation. I wanted to do a recording, when I didn't have anything, and then you go to a recording studio, it was too much. They charge you by the hour, and it's like if you went in there unorganized, you pay for that time, whether you're sitting there doing nothing or trying to write your song, or the guy that's just laughing his head off, because
he's making
time is money.
Yeah.
Time is money. So I thought I would, if I did open a recording studio, it would be for that purpose. Not just a normal recording studio where anyone can come in and do their. So this is specifically giving people opportunity. It can be open to not only to Pacific Island, whoever wants that opportunity to put their foot in the door. So we help them, put their foot in the door.
Is that a model that's been done before? You bring in artists or whoever wants to record, and then it's a sponsor that pays for it.
It's a sponsor, yeah. Well,
not the artists themselves.
No, not the artist. The sponsor pays for it. The guys with the money. If I sort of got that idea from when they have Miss Samoa. They have Miss Samoa. I mean, and then they have sponsored by especially the car dealers.
Yeah. Especially the car dealers.
The car dealers. This Miss Attitude is sponsored by all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's where the concept sort of came about. I think it'll work. So I've gone to a few of my own networks, first, and say, hey, I've come up with this idea. What do you reckon? We're in. Just let us know when you get the artist. So I'm looking for the sponsorship first, and then open it up. Knowing that when they come, we've really got someone to sponsor them.
Man, I feel proud that someone like us, Samoan guys, doing this. For our people.
Of course, absolutely.
And just when you said like recording studio, it's good that you're branching off. Like as I said, like branching off to other things. Like it's not just music. It can be advertising, get into that space. And I feel like audio is making a big comeback these days.
Yes.
Especially with podcasts,
yes.
And stuff like that. So I think it's good timing.
It is good timing, yeah. It's good timing. I mean, with the likes of YouTube, Facebook, the social media platforms now.
I mean, it's not only audio, you're doing video as well. So.
Videos, yeah. Because you go to YouTube now, you look at music, it's just videos and music videos. Yeah. You got all these recording studios doing all of this, promoting. That's a good thing. Where our music is now, where before it was just like you go to a studio and it's just audio. You never see the artist. You don't see the artist on the cover. But for example, like with the 5 Stars, when they came out, I didn't even know who they looked like. All I knew was just heard their songs sung along, but I never. Because I think back in those days they didn't have MTV or anything like that. But like I'm saying now, it's like I think the recording system has changed. It's like you go in there, you record an album before, but now it's individual. It's like you come do one song, do an MTV, put it up. Okay, let's do another one. So and then so you put up one, and then 2 months later you put up another one. And it just goes on. It just goes on. It just goes on.
You told me the name of the studio, and I thought it was pretty cool. It's ET, right? That's your initials plus. It's sort of like Entertainment Tonight. It's like an entertainment one-stop shop. Wow.
Yeah, it was obvious. ET's was always obvious. My brand, my label, because initials. In fact, I had all my children named ET's, the whole 9 of them. Right from Eddie right down to my youngest, so Elijah to my youngest. So. And ever since I had my screen printing business, I called it ET Screen Printing. So I always take that with me.
So it's always a natural progression.
It's always So people know me of my past work, whether it's music or whether it's T-shirts. They say, "Oh, ET." And then my kids will, E.T., the alien E.T. But, yeah, E.T. So I thought, well, there's no other name. I'll name it than E.T. Studios. So, and it just stuck like that, yeah.
We had Dynamis Records, Dynamis Music, and they came over, and we recorded last week, and they were telling us about the funding that New Zealand on Air has, and it just seems like what you have is perfect for them, because when they talk about funding, they say there's funding for Pacific Islanders, and there's so much money that the government's putting out there.
Wow.
It seems like ET's recording center would be perfect for them, because they were telling us the model is that you have to apply for them, you have to show that where the money's going. Yeah. You have to have a song that you feel is good enough, and they said it starts at something like $10,000. You know, that's what I mean. And because now because with your business that you offer everything, it just shows that it just seems that just your business model would be perfect for them, because you can do all the paperwork, and then you can do the recording for them. And now it sounds like you're going to be a music director as well.
Yeah,
you know.
I've always loved music, and man, it's good to hear about that.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't even looked into that, funding and all that sort of stuff. Like I said, I've just sort of got myself around it now and putting everything into action. But now you're talking about it, I should look into it.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Because I know that they love. I know. I was talking to a friend of mine who goes and puts who goes to the government for funding. Like, although what he does is different from music, it's still the same model. And he says that the government, especially if you're a Pacific Islander, and something like New Zealand on Air or something like that, they love that, because they do have I don't know if it's a quota, but they have something that they need to a box that they need to tick. Like, yes, we're dealing with Pacific Islanders, we're helping expose them, and it just sounds like I think it sounds like a marriage made in heaven there.
The other thing that's good about what you're doing is what you said about your business model. Because if New Zealand Air want to give away money to help startups, especially Pacific Island startups, they would want at the end to be sustainable.
Yeah,
by themselves.
Of course.
So it's perfect. There's no reason why what you're doing is perfect for them.
Not only are we using it as a recording studio as such, but a lot of other stuff. We're trying to make the most of what we can with what we have, as far as recording audio, as far as recording video. So we want to get jingles. We want to do jingles. We want to do voice acting. And all that sort of stuff. So I've got my daughters that's back up. Want to create an ad for a company. Okay, come on, here's a script, bang, let's go.
That's awesome, because it's funny, because a ad works, a radio ad works is if you're sitting in the car and you hear the jingle, you sing along straight away. And I've always thought about it, man, because they kind of they use the same fucky or the same tune every time. I'm like, man, if Samoans got into this, we would kill it, or Pacific Islanders, because we, you would know. When it comes to having catchy tunes or knowing how to get people to listen, we've got it, eh?
Yeah. So I create all the music.
Awesome.
Yeah, I create. Like we were just talking, I have a karaoke, online karaoke. So I'm on karaoke.
Online, YouTube. It's called
YouTube.
Club Kareoke.
Club Kareoke. A lot of people. Yeah. So I create all the music, all the the whole thing.
Yeah.
The music video. So that's what we can create. That's what we can offer. That's is create educational stuff. Someone comes and says, "Hey, can you do Twinkle Twinkle in Samoan?" Yeah, of course. We'll just so so it's open for education for Pacific Island. Now we can, why not have our own play school? Why not have our own, children's? You see, my kids, my grandchildren, every morning they're on your gadget, and when you see the views, they're looking about 2 billion views of people all over the world watching. And these kids are just scrolling, and you think, wow, why don't we have our own Samoan, Cook Island educational program? And we can do all that.
Well, I'm surprised that the kids these days don't know Spanish, because I've gone past my nephews and they're watching it. It's in Spanish, and I'm like, these kids will just, because they're like sponges. They would love, they just soak that stuff up, and because they're 2 years old and they know how to open up an iPad I'm like,
Yep.
they're more advanced than like the older generation. So that's pretty scary, and to know that eventually when you get into that, there's nothing like that at the moment.
But just going back into the gadget, I mean, it's, like you said, it's pretty scary when you see a 2-year-old just go, and then they do their TikToks, and then you go, what the? And then you go, can you show me? And it's pretty freaky, but satisfying that before. Kids had nothing, like we had nothing, so we were just, what are we going to do now, but now with all the gadgets and all the games, applications, I mean, every kid's just everyone's sitting in their little corner, the house is quiet, until the Wi-Fi goes off and they're all,
It seems like no one can be bored anymore, right?
No, not these days, bro, not these days. I mean, like I said, everyone's sitting there. When I walk into after I've done some work in the studio, I go in the house and everyone's just in their little corner. My wife, my kids, my grandkids, and I'm just going, oh my God. Then I'll go home by myself, look at my Facebook and all that sort of stuff. But that's the way it is.
Yeah.
That's how things have changed now. I mean, back in our days, we had nothing. Cousins would come over, what do we play? And that was basically it, eh? Bull rush, we had nothing like this.
Do you think that's how scary it is, but it's also quite sad because, like you said, we had to make our own fun. Back in those days. I wonder if the long term, if it's going to have long term effects on the children or on us, because when you're getting out there and being active,
it is a bit scary because. Like I said, back in the days, we didn't have much, but we had time. Yeah. We had time. We had family time. We had quality time. When it came to devotion, when the parents come together with their siblings, bring us little cousins around, because there was no time for anything else. It was just time for fellowship. You do your whainga locals and your beses, and so we had a lot of time, and I think that's how our generation grew up together in that bondage, in that bond and in the unity. Where now you sort of say, hey, la whainga ko roko, everyone's everywhere. Hey, wait. I've got to go now. All that's always happening around my household. But I don't know where it's going to go after this. I mean, it's something that you really can't stop because it's just the way, you tell a kid to put that down and all that sort of stuff. It's just... So many people are just drawn to especially the gadget now. Yeah,
well, it feels unhealthy to be so reliant on something.
Yeah,
because like you said, when the Wi-Fi goes, what are you turning it off? And that's when they suddenly become IT experts. Put it down,
Yeah,
and it's at some point there has to be a tipping point where, where it's not going to be. It's going to be unhealthy because. Because of what's happening, and where do we stop? What's the at what point do they stop?
I suppose it's like if you look at smoking, a lot of people want to give up, but that brings a lot of money to the country, smokes and all that sort of stuff. Even though they start to advertise, people will say, "Oh yeah, I'll give up," but they never do, or they try to give up, and it's just I think it's just it's just a system. That's the same with what's happening. We're trying to get them off, but it's just the way they won't stop it. YouTube will just bring in children and after children's program, and then the kids just go in there. And parents are now saying, go in and keep them quiet, and that's the purpose why they, then the kids will just sit there and so mum's happy, he's cooking away, don't have to yell and scream. So I think parents take advantage of that it can keep a child quiet in the same little corner.
Babysitter,
and it's a good thing that they can learn, especially if they're watching the right program, the educational program. But then it's a thing that's taken a lot of, natural time where you could go out and play outside, or that sort of stuff. With majority now, people they just either games, either on the phone. It's either one of those. You hardly see kids playing out. passing a ball or that sort of stuff, not because of what's happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a lot of positives and negatives.
Negatives,
to it.
yeah.
I think the common one is are the kids consuming or are they creating?
Yeah.
Because you can do both.
Yeah,
on the
that's
technology,
right. Yeah.
technology we have now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think it's beneficial if we create more.
Yeah.
Because it allows us to develop more skills
Yeah.
when we get older and stuff.
Yeah.
If we're just consuming every day,
that's right,
we're
not learning
just playing
anything,
games, not learning
yeah.
anything. So
yeah.
danger there. But because we lived during the time before the internet, and then after the internet, like how you say, are you pretty concerned with what the kids, or it's just something that's just the way of life and just gotta?
I think
they just gotta sort it out, because I don't think we humans have sorted technology out.
I don't think we
it's
can.
happening too fast.
Yeah, it's just something that it's up to us to control within our own household. Say, okay, you're not watching that, or no Wi-Fi, we're going to cut the Wi-Fi off. No. So I think it's us to control it, because no one else would.
Yeah.
And we can't stop everything from all the new apps that have come out, all the new programs that have come out. Because kids just want to go on and watch. So it's up to us within our household to say, to draw that limit. That's all right. That's what I think anyway. Like I said, if I turn the Wi-Fi off, they all come like the end of the world sort of thing, But
do you also see with technology now? Do you look back in the past and think, man, I wish I had that back then?
Oh yes, I do.
With the stuff you're doing now, with your
yes. Yeah, well, like I said, back in the days when I created the passion of recording, I used to, back when I was about 10, 11, I used to have, back in those days was you had to read the tape recorder, and then had a mic. So what you do, so I put a tape in, and I play like a guitar. I sing main, and then what I'll do, get another tape recorder, put a tape in there, play that what I recorded, and then record it. Then I'll add my second voice in that one, and then I'll swap it again. So you got 3 tracks. Yeah, it sounded blurry, but hey, it worked.
Yeah.
And that was only for myself, just because I just had that passion I wanted to. So that's and that's been with me since. Now the technology's come in. Now the speakers now, you don't need the big stuff like the old days. Everything's like, so. I did wish I did have back in the days. I wish I wish I started earlier and all that sort of stuff. Then getting a job in the factory, we start 4 in the morning and finish at 11, sort of thing. Where I could have started earlier, and achieve my stuff earlier than leaving it a bit late. But it's never too late anyway. So yeah,
That's right.
Never too late.
How you said you used to do that recording and stuff like that. Do you think that kind of helped you long term, because you were discovering all of this by yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, technology now, they just give it to you, so you don't learn how to play an instrument, because you can just play tap the keyboard, and you're getting backing tracks, and then you click and drag and all that. Do you think that's what really gave you that drive to make music?
If I can, I put it this way: my parents weren't really musical. They didn't. Maybe they played the odd guitar. So, if people say, okay, you got that from your mum, or you got that from your dad, or you got that from your granddad. No, it wasn't the case. So it wasn't something that was, was passed down.
So self-taught?
It was self-taught. We had one guitar with my mum's sister would bring one guitar, and about 6 of us at the time, we'll just have turns, even though we didn't know how to play it, but it was there. And then we just started playing, and then just learned, and then all of a sudden, music became part of our lives. And at a young age, I wanted to record it, and I got into that. And then I think that's where the passion started. And then you start to experiment with a lot of how do you do this? How do I? So I was into that sort of stuff where a lot of my siblings they just done their own thing, but I was really into my music.
So where was this? Was this?
This was here. This would be back. I think I know late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were your, when you were doing all that recording and that stuff by yourself, who were your main influences back then for music-wise?
I didn't really. I just loved music. Just listening to Cool and the Gang and all that sort of stuff, and some Samoan music, which at the time just came into New Zealand around about the late 70s. So the Five Stars sort of brought the music into the and so we were brought up around a lot of music, traditional music, te leiga, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's where the the music came in that sense.
Because because I remember those, growing up, I remember those albums. I remember my parents. We had a record player, and we had the people with the big hair and the cover, and I remember the shop. I mean, there was a store, the Whale Samoa, that was up in K Road.
Yeah.
And I remember they had, I think it was
Maota Samoa.
Yeah, the Maota Samoa. And they
yeah.
had a record store there.
Yep.
And I remember going there when I was young.
Yep.
And looking at the albums, and it wasn't until later on I thought, man, I wish I'd held on to those records.
Wish we all did.
Yeah. So were you like those other people, like would go to buy records from all these different stores, or were you just trying to record it off the radio? Or
No, I would, man, back in those days there was a shop in Otahu, because that's where I was brought up there. And there was a record shop in the arcade there, and I used to go there, and whatever came out, I would buy it. There weren't many, there wasn't much Samoan music back then. Five Stars, Penina Tia Whau, and some other groups. So I'd go there all the time, and nothing would be, So I got most of the Five Stars collection, those the big works. So I had them for a while, and then you think, well, what happened to them?
Yeah.
What happened to them? I don't know what happened to them. The 45s, all that sort of stuff. So around about that time, I was influenced by a lot of music, all different music, even Samoan music as well. Yeah. So that's what made me really keen to. Sometimes when you record your own drum, your own beat, just tap on the But I didn't know that was going to lead up to such where I am now that I was doing. But I'm glad I had that, And so I know with that passion of recording at the time that it's in me, that it's a long journey. It's not a little short journey where I just do it now and then I'll do something else sort of thing. So I know from here I can take it all the way to the rest of my life, basically.
Yeah.
Or when I can't do it anymore, sort of thing. Yeah.
So were you born here or in Samoa?
I was born in Samoa.
Okay.
I was born in Samoa. And I don't know if I should give you the year, but anyway, I was born in 65. I took Tuala. And then my dad, those days, the migration and all that was happening. And only 4, the quota was 4 children. We had 6 at the time, my siblings, so 2 had to stay, and 4, we came in 1970 or 71. I was about 5 or 6 years old. Yeah, and then we came over then.
Did you guys land in Greyland or?
No, we landed in Mangere, Mangere Mountain. The uncle had a house there, so you go live with uncle and then, and we sort of moved around. We lived in the city once, and then mum and dad. Praise God for the couple stars that helped us out, the Catholic, the convent and that. So they helped us out and bought a house in Otahu, 75. Went there. So I schooled there, Otahu, St. Joseph's, Otahu Intermediate, Otahu College. And then moved on from there. So I got married in 1985 to a Westie. From Avondale College, yeah. So unfortunately, I had to come on this way. So I've been here since. So yeah. So we've had a family here. So we've been here ever since. So no regrets. Love it here. West. Yeah, but.
So what was when you were a kid going to school? What was it like? Was there a lot of Samoans out there already?
Remember that time, 1971. I mean, there was hardly any islanders.
Yeah.
Especially
out those ways, huh?
Yeah, So I went to Waterley Primary, and I remember going to school, and we all sat around the table, just barlangis. I was my mum was there. She took me in, and she was sitting down, and so we got these cards, and they had A for apple, P for banana, and I got H. And I looked at the car, it was a horse. Freshy as ever, And then the teacher go, okay, you got to stand up and say A for whatever you're holding, And here's me just thinking, I know it's a sort of whangua, that's what I know. So anyway, A for apple, B for banana, C. And then I came to mine, I just said, the sort of whangua. That's really easy. My mum was telling me, I was going, oh, my. So, yeah. No, back when we went to school, there was, you bring chop suey, to lunch. You open that up, and the kids are like, they didn't know what it was. You bring chop suey and whai, and they would just go, wow. And mum and dad were sort of, hey, go to school and we'll bring your lunch. And they'll bring that fried egg that's cooked 3 hours ago, and one of the kids, it's all moist. You hold out your egg, it's all. And those Palangis would just sit and look and hey. Yeah. But back in those days, it was just Palangis back in the a couple of Māoris and a couple of bullies there. But it was good.
Oh, that's. I wish you'd had cameras in that back then. Now you could record, record everything up to your journey coming from, because you're a case of a person. You came here at quite a young age. While your parents, they would have been older, but they would have been either in their mid-20s or their 30s, and to come to take 4 of your kids, unfortunately have to leave 2 of them, and to come to Mangere and then put you into where you have to look at the card with the horse on it. It must have been tough on your mum and dad as well. How did they adjust?
They even they didn't know any English at all. Even we didn't know anything. No one knew. We were just fresh off the boat, and we sort of just had to work our way through. And just by the help of uncles and aunties, that's been here, So, we just needed translators to translate our way through until we sort of picked it up. So, so when we started going to school, and then you sort of learnt the language. And unfortunately for mum and dad, well, that was it for them. Whatever they had, that was it. So, but for us, we just gradually, learned to speak English. Thank God for that. So, but our lunches, as we went to standard 3, standard 4, I mean, mum and dad were still cooking, making our lunches, And then sometimes I see dad bring something all steaming, so we go, oh no, it's a chop suey. So a chop suey or something from Sundays, from Sunday, yeah.
Well, it's funny, the mentality back then is like, oh no, it's supper suey and stuff like that, but man, now. If someone came and they put me supper soup for my lunch, I'm like, and then what sandwiches? But back in because we were talking about lunches previous recording, and we're talking how the Bali used to come with the hundreds and thousands on their bread, and I was like, I thought that was just for cakes. And then this Bali, Samoans, because when you see your mum do the cake, you and then that's the last thing they do. They, looking man out, it's for another cake, and then you see Balis put it on sandwiches. I'm like, whoa, you must have a lot of money because
because our parents did it for a long time, we were getting used to it. And we were getting used to the reactions of the other kids. So it was like, it got to the stage where you run outside, because you got your bags at the corridor, and the parents would just come bring and put in your bag. So you go there and have a look first, because when it was lunchtime, you open up your bag and you put your lunch on the table. So it was like, I'll go have a look. Oh no, I'm not gonna. Oh, I got no lunch today. So it was that sort of thing. It was really funny back when you think about it.
Yeah, that's right.
Just the way it was, just the way we trying to survive. We came from, as all, most of us came from a poor start. So we had to, when Dad came, he's the only one that worked, and fish and chips was a big thing back then. When Uncle and Dad used to come home, open up the fish and chips, man, it was like, yes! We were going. So even that, that was, man, we just loved it so much, when then we had all the cousins around, we'd be eating chips and talking, and they struggled, parents struggled, and then my dad got sick at a young age, so so my older brother stepped in, and then I was in 5th form, going for my school C at the time, and so I because my mother was working, and she was working at 4 o'clock in the mornings, and I saw that, my brother was working. It still wasn't enough coming through, so I packed up school and worked with my mum. I said, Mum, give me a job with you. So we both worked at the muffin factory, and that's how I started my work journey with my mum. And then she retired later, and I sort of carried on and stayed, and just helped along until my time was, I shouldn't say up, but until I got married, and then I moved from there.
Moved out west,
yes, yeah. But I had other siblings that were there. They were supporting, my mum and dad at the time. So I sort of moved on.
Had music come into, while you were working? Had you started to take music more seriously? Where were you finding the time?
Oh, bro, music. I mean, like I said, it's from the day we got the guitar. That's where the music kicked in.
Yeah.
And then the radio came through, and we were consuming a lot of music through that. So as we were growing up, music was always there. We just...
Had you formed a band at that point? Were you
getting
into that?
Yeah, my brothers. I don't know if you heard of the Young Lovers back then.
Which we've heard of the famous, famous Young Lovers.
Yeah, the Young Lovers. That was my two brothers. They formed a band with another family, the Tanuvasas, and a couple of other friends of theirs. And I was mucking around. My friends were having our band, It was like the Bee Gees and the Westlife. So our Westlife, we had the Bee Gees over there.
So you were in the same place as the Bee Gees there?
And then it was like my dad. So yeah, they were in the Young Lovers for a couple of years, and then my dad saw her and said, "Hey, how come you two you playing the guitar? Here's that guy there's playing the drum. We're gonna get a band together." So we formed a family band.
Oh.
Yeah, we formed a family band, and then and then we sort of got on there and done the circuit, done the WESWES. Back in there it was the WESWES. Not socials. Socials didn't come in. This was back in the early 80s. Yeah. So we were there with the Five Stars, we were there with the Rainbow Band, we were there with the bands that you hardly hear of now, But back in those days when we were doing all the dances and all that, it was like the Five Stars. It was like our band was called the Beautiful Four then, after the Young Lovers. So yeah, so it was like that in that time. It was good days of in the band. So music was always there, and then it went on, and so it was just like we had different journeys in our music. Like after this band, we sort of formed another band, and then we formed another band, and so but we just carried on with the music. But back in the days of the Young Lovers, that was an awesome era. That era there, because it was like there was no alcohol involved in the sivas and that. You just come and you siva until it's all finished, eat the supper, go home. That was it. When the socials came in after, it was like a lot of trouble. Alcohol got in the scene here. So we also done that. Done the socials.
Came through that era
as well, yeah. So, yeah, we were...
How come do you think it changed?
Was the alcohol?
But what was the...
I don't know. Back in those days, though, it was like unheard of. It was just like sivas. No one drank. No one came in drunk. It was just...
But that was the culture.
I think, yeah.
But
I think...
I know alcohol changed the thing, but how did someone say, let's have alcohol?
Do you think this islanders adopted the Kiwi drinking culture? Do you think we took that on? Because...
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
That's what I was thinking.
Probably,
because we went... if you go back to Samoa and that, there is a drink culture now.
Yeah.
But I'm assuming that back then you just go and siva into and afu and then go have something to eat and then go back home.
Yeah, that was it. That was the sivas back then.
Who was organising the sivas? Because I remember socials when
we
used to go as our church trying to fundraise for money.
Yeah, it was all fundraising.
Families trying to fundraise for money.
It was all fundraising. Either church fundraising or family fundraising. It was all that. So, they'll call us, and we done weddings and 21st and all that sort of stuff. But, so it was mainly fundraising, families and all that sort of stuff, so it was really good back in those days. So the Young Lovers, when the Young Lovers were on, they were on fire back in the day. They'll play from Friday, Saturday morning at weddings and Saturday night. So I was like, I hung around at times because just in case the drummer didn't turn up or the bass player didn't turn up, so I'd go in there, doom, doom, doom. And my brother would go, "Hey, play it properly." So it was like Like, I used to be under a lot of pressure under my brother when we used to. But that was my, when people look at me and say, "Oh, you're part of Young Girls," and no, I was just like
The backup.
Yeah, the backup, the bumble, sort of thing, yeah.
You know when you talked about the circuit.
Yeah.
What were because I remember. So my parents, they talk about meeting at the Orange Club, just up there, just near Koba Pass. What were the you said about the circuit, the places to go. Us Westies, we only know one place in this, the Civiki, the rec centre, but they don't do anything there now. But what were the places back then that that you would love to play at and always used to sell out? I mean, just always have really good.
Yeah, we used to do a lot of gigs at the St. Joseph's Hall.
Oh, Greyland?
Greyland.
Yes. They still have the same brick. I got a photo of my dad and I knew straight away.
Yeah.
But I said to my, who's the lady? Because that's not my mum. But I know the place where you're at. It's St. Joe's because it's so distinctive.
So there's St. Joe's down the road was Tuala. These are all the Samoan Tuala. So we used to play a lot of sivas for that church. There was Mataanga down, I think, Leighton, Whakasa.
Yes.
And there were other places. Freeman's Bay, there was a community hall there that we used to play quite
It's
a bit.
still there, right?
Is it still there? Yeah. St. Paul's. We played a few times there at St. Paul's College.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a lot of places, and then so that was like weddings and 21st, and then you had the night ones like they had the Family Neville on the K Road. I don't know if you remember the Family Neville. Okay, Family Neville, and then they had Club Polonaise down at somewhere in town there. It was owned by the Parkers, Dave Parker and the Parker family.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's a lot of Tarofa. There was Tarofa in Greyland, just down the road from St. Joseph's. And then you had South. Then you had Manhattan's.
Yeah.
We played a few times, in Manhattan. So it was a bit everywhere. The Forge out in Papakura. Then you had some of the places I can't even remember.
Yeah.
When we used to, and then you got the Cosy clubs. Then you got the RSAs, and then you got. So we've done all that, covered all that.
When you're doing the RSAs, the Cosy clubs and that, because I was just sitting here thinking, they must have just played a lot of Samoan songs, or Samoan music, played specialised in Samoan music, but you would have had to be really broad because you had to go to you can't go to the Raza and sing a Samoan song there because there's going to be a lot of ex-army vets going, hey, what the
exactly,
sing,
exactly. So everywhere we went to, we had a set. We had a set of songs. Like we played at RSA, we played a lot of rock and roll, a lot of cha-cha, and a lot of samba, and a lot of where all the old people get up, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, we've got a song list, so we knew for social, here's a song list for social. RSA, Cosy Club, RSA, Cosy Club still the same. So so you played different accordingly to what they wanted.
To the crowd.
To the crowd.
Yeah.
And the crowd would just, they'll come to us and say, oh, got any Dean Martin? What? So I'll give it to you the next time, So they'll come with all. So we had to, thank God our music went back to the days of Frank Sinatra, Engelbert Humperdinck, Tom Jones, Elvis Presley. So we could cover a lot of that, yeah. And each of us had a certain voice range. So if it came to Elvis, Engelbert, that'll be me. And then my brother would do like the Bee Gees, that sort of, yeah. So everyone had their own selection to suit the range of their voice, yeah. So
I remember when I was younger. On my mum's side, all my cousins on my mum's side, they're much older than me and my sisters. So I remember when I was 5 or 6 years old, we'll be going to their 21st, and we'll be going to these places like the Mandalay. Did you guys?
Yes. We played a lot at the Mandalay, yeah.
In Newmarket?
Newmarket, yeah.
Yeah, that was one of the places.
Yep.
Would it be a wedding or something?
Yeah. We played quite a bit there at the Mandalay.
Samoa was a big one too.
Yeah, Samoa, we played there as well.
A lot of 21st there.
Yeah, because at the back there they had the hall.
Yeah, it's funny because I just remember going there as a kid to all these 21st, but just playing tiki with the young
Catching kisses.
Yeah. We had there was a in 1983 there was the opening of the South Pacific Games,
I remember that.
Yeah, and they were looking for a theme, a song. So there was a competition out for any band they wanted to compete. So it was us, it was a whole lot of other bands. I think it was about 20 bands. And we actually took it out. And for winning, we got a free trip to Samoa, to the opening of the...
To perform it?
And to perform it as well. So we got that opportunity. So that was...
Wow.
Yeah, that was a good achievement for us, you know, back then.
Did you fly Polynesian Airlines or?
Oh, bro, I think it was.
Were they up? Were they?
I think it was Polynesian Airlines.
Yeah.
But it was like, you know, I don't know what, 737 back then. You know, it's one of these. You know, oh my gosh, back in those days. But yeah, so we've done some good stuff.
That's a crazy story. Do you still have you gone on YouTube and had a look for like any footage of the opening ceremony back in of the games in there?
No, bro. I mean, there were people there recording.
Yeah.
And only them would have the, you know, because I mean, we don't even think of this until now. We think, oh, I wish we had a camera back then to record it. But we've got photos and all that sort of stuff.
Because we had Michael Field on, and he was sending us back in Samoa because he for a while he was the official photographer for the Samoan government.
Wow.
So I'm pretty sure that they'll have that in the archives.
Yeah.
You know, probably a nice photo of you with your slick hair. Singing the winning competition. Who wrote the song?
Oh, it was a good friend of the family. He's passed now, but yeah, he wrote the song. And thank God we took it because of that song. Yeah. I forget how it goes in. It was back in '83.
Yeah.
But, you know, at the time we just learned the song. Pretty scary at the time. I mean, when you were first forming the band, you know, playing publicly in front of people was like, you know, very scary, you know, until you start to mature and grow up and done it more often, and then it took the fear away sort of thing back then. So, yeah, so I forget his name, Lalatoa, I think his name was, that wrote the song. Yeah, so it was a blessing for us to win on that. Yeah, I still remember it was Freeman's Bay, the final, and it was funny because I was standing there, and you know they were going runners up, and then they called the group that came second runners up, and I thought that was the winners.
Oh, okay.
And I went, you know, oh no, we didn't make it then. So the winners are took it out. I said, beautiful four. And everyone just, yeah, and I just went, did we win? Yes, we won. So that was a joyful day for us back then. Yeah, especially for my dad anyway.
Well, what was it like with the other bands too? Like, how was the networking back in the 80s?
It was just play anything, and you know, everyone's for themselves. No discipline, just enjoy yourself. That's it, you know. So it wasn't anything serious, you know. It was just playing in the garage, sort of thing. So we weren't even good enough to play to play anywhere. So it's just mates getting together, and just jamming around, sort of thing. Yeah.
You know the bands, were they? I'm just thinking because remember, if you think back in the days, bands, you know, you have certain areas like you don't cross into my territory. You know, we run South Auckland with this band. Did you ever clash with any other bands, or have any other bands try and steal your sound, or
it was
stuff like
I
that?
mean, hey, it was a big competition out there, you know, but you just had to prove that you were good. You know, everyone's for themselves. Yeah. You know, if you've done the job, everyone liked you, well, they'll come to you where you play.
You get repeat.
Yeah. If you don't, well, you never see anyone come there. So the expectation was high.
Yeah.
And they were good bands. I mean, these were guys with drums, drummers, you know, the full band. Okay. And they were good. Have their own flavour and everything like that. But, you know, at the time it was a bit hard to choose one for the people because everyone had their variation. But when it came to WESWES, and that was between our band and the Five Stars because we done everything, from rock and roll to disco. Man, disco was a big thing back then. Soul music, you know, the slow waltz. That was the pattern. So you go in there, you start with your slow waltz. So you'll get the old guy get up. Go E4 today. Sometimes no. Here they go to the next one. So they start the waltz, and then we'll put a reggae in there, and then we'll put something like a disco in there, and then we'll fire it up with a bit of a hula. You know, so just, you know, and that was it. And just the excitement when we used to play Cook Island, especially the Cook Island, because I was very quick. You used to see all the sound. do it. And then when we finished, it was, you know, they really, you know, really satisfied, very happy. And that made us satisfied as well. So that was like the pattern. So that was the bracket. And the next bracket, you start again, slow song, and then another medium, and then, you know, and that was it. So it was, you know, you just had to do the best you can. And that took a lot of practice. You know, if you want to be better than other bands, you gotta practice. You gotta practice. Not only practice, but practice the new songs as well. But back in those days, it was rock and roll and disco, and we started "Say I Love You" and a cool, you know, celebration and all that sort of jam. That's very good.
That's crazy how you guys figured out your sound, but then how you figured out the pattern to use.
Yeah.
Did you just learn that from experience?
That was from experience. Yeah, that was from experience, because you couldn't just
keep trialing and
yeah.
You know.
You couldn't just start with a fast song, because no one wants to dance.
Yeah.
They want something that boosts them out. You know, you got to get out, have a slow waltz. So you always start with a slow waltz, and then you'll have a little bit of a quicker waltz and maybe a bit of a samba. You know, but then Samoans didn't really know how to dance to the samba or a cha-cha. Or, you know, all they wanted was reggae and rock and roll and disco. Oh man, you used to see their flares and, you know, doing the splits and man, if you know, man, those days. And then when I meet up with some of these people now and I look at them all grey haired and we start talking and I was going, man, so did you remember those days? Oh, they were the good old days when they used to do the splits and all that stuff. Yeah, and we used to do songs like we do a lot of Casey and the Sunshine Band. They're really into that. Yeah. And a lot of rock and roll. They really love rock and roll, our people back then. And I hear, you know, when they talk to me about it, they say, oh man, the music's not the same anymore. You know, they haven't got the pace that it was before, you know, yeah. But I know times changed now, everything's changed.
I couldn't see that happening now, like having the siva like that now. Because
Yeah.
You know, because of nightclubs and stuff
Yeah.
like that. You couldn't have a band go on and do the same thing that you guys would do.
Yeah.
Probably at a wedding, you know, weddings.
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
That's a perfect thing for
Yeah,
me.
exactly.
Build up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Because we're playing for a 21st. So we've got a family band playing tomorrow at Manhattan's. So we've got a 21st, and I said to the team, okay, look, here's our songs, and then we're going to play the Silver Samoa for the birthday boy, and then we'll add on a couple of songs just in case the oldies want to do some. So we've got a bit of twist ready, you know, a bit of 1, 2, 3 o'clock, and then a bit of hula to finish it off. So that'll keep them entertained, sort of thing, and then the DJ will probably hop on and do the rest. Because that's what's happening out there. And that's all DJ now. Eh?
Yeah.
You know, Eddie does that. You know, the music now. I said, what's the music out there like now, bro? And he goes, oh, it's a lot of that sort of Latin.
Yeah.
I don't know what they call it. What do they call the music?
What was the name? The Froton.
Yeah.
He told us the name now.
Yeah.
And that just shows how behind I was.
Yeah.
You know.
I said, what's that? He said, it's just a mix. You know, the.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. You know, I mean. Back in those days, that song would be too slow. They don't want to. They want to follow the leader. That's what they want. That sort of song, you know. And you play that to the young people, they go, what? You know. So yeah, that's how music's changed. And you're right. If you start playing that music right now, I mean, people just say, what's that? You know, what's that? Because they've forgotten about that, or they weren't around to experience the days of the rock and roll, the days of the disco and all that stuff. You know, they used to Aiko now and all that, you know, all those sort of songs where everyone's just sort of go with the flow.
Because if you think about all the DJs, or if you go to a function these days, the DJ, they're more like in the background.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're just playing background music while people are talking.
Yeah.
But I know, you know, when you have a band, they're the focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they're loud.
True, yeah.
And once, you know, if you hear a song you like, you look. And then, you know.
Yeah.
And I honestly mean it, there's nothing better than live music.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, you know, that's the most.
Yeah.
Like that's why that's why 50,000 people turn up to Eden Park on the weekend to watch 660, because you can listen to it at home, you can listen to it in your car and that. But if you see someone actually singing and someone playing an instrument,
That's
you
right.
can't beat it.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
You must, you know, do you still get the same buzz? Like I know you're not recording, or performing as much as, but do you still get that
Yeah,
same?
of course.
Yeah.
It's. I always tell this. I always encourage our band, not only and church too, because we've got a gospel band as well. We play at church and that, so it'll never leave us. No matter where we go now, we're not only playing for family, but we play for church as well. So, and just saying just going back to what you're saying. I forgot sorry. I was just thinking.
Yeah, just about live music and like there's nothing greater.
Oh.
But do you still get?
Yes, I do. I
butterflies
do.
in that? Yeah.
No, you don't get butterflies. But I was just going back to what I was just saying. Sorry about that, bro. I always encourage the band to know their gift of music and to be, they're so fortunate to have it. You know, like not many of us do have the gift of music. Whether you're a singer, whether you play an instrument, yeah.
I'll put my
So
I've tried about 4 different instruments.
Yeah. So
no musical.
So I tell them embrace it. You know, let people know. Share your gift. You know, don't hide it or don't because you've been given that gift. What's the point of hiding it when you haven't? We have a lot of people saying, "Oh man, I wish I had that. Wish I had that gift." So in saying that doesn't even help myself to be confident. You know, to sing, to talk, because I know that I have the gift, you know, and I know that I should be sharing that gift, you know, sort of thing. So that's what so every time I play, I try to do the best as I can, because I know you can deliver the goods confidently, you know, and I try to teach that to to the band, to the new generation that's coming on board now. It's just knowing the gift that you have, you know, and just share it with others. So that's sort of giving them the kick. You know, the motivation to really not to be shy, you know, and because they're really gifted. They are gifted. You know, I said, God is giving. It's a God-given gift. God did not chuck it to you like that. He wants you to use it. That's why you've given it. So, in saying that to them, it's really empowered them to use. You know, to sing confidently now. So every time we play, whether it's church or out, you know, I feel there's a purpose. Yeah. There was a purpose for me to be here. You know, whether I'm praying for the Lord or whether I'm just entertaining, you know, I'm using that gift that God has given to me to share. Yeah.
Are you seeing this generation, or the young generation coming through, are they embracing or music like what you used to, the gospel music or playing instruments? Do you see them embracing that now? Because you'd see, you know, you've got quite a large family and you're a man of God and someone that's come through the church. Are the kids getting into it these days, playing live instruments?
Not really. Not really, because like I said, there's a lot of distractions now. You know, when you tell the kids, hey, come to practice. Oh, hold on, Dad, I'm just talking to my friend. Or hold on, I'm just finished something. Oh, hold on. There's a lot of excuses now. You know, when back in the days, we're going 10 o'clock or 7 o'clock, let's start. So, you know, we had the time to do it. But I think young people are like in that choosing thing. They can choose whether they want to or choose whether, you know, there's no obligation now, unless it's in their, unless they have that passion for it to say, you know, to do it. So if they haven't got that passion, then they'll just sort of, they'll just sort of go with the flow sort of thing. But, I mean, with my kids, you know, they still going through their, you know, shyness of things and that. So it's just encouraging and, you know, and doing all that sort of stuff. But I think it just goes under your confidence, how confident you are. You know, if you're confident, of course you can sing, and of course you can go from here to there. But if you're not confident, then you always shy back and not really reveal the goodness that you have, sort of thing. So, yeah. So with my experience in that, you know, I tell my kids, hey, come, let's sing for the Lord, and you know, so they're obligated to come and do it. Not only because I want them to come, but they're willing to come in.
Do you think technology's had a big part in people not taking up instruments? Because I watch Facebook lives and feeds, and you see all the bands now at all these bars or all these nightclubs, Samoan nightclubs, And I look up there, there's only 2 keyboards now.
Yeah.
You know, because there's no. I went,
Yeah.
hey, where's the drummer? Where's the
Yeah,
bass? And all
yeah,
that.
suddenly.
But everything is on the
Suddenly, yeah.
keyboard now.
Yeah.
So you know, why would you want to pick
Yeah,
up an instrument if there's
yeah.
a chance that you're not gonna?
It's sad, eh? It's sad now when you. I mean, I'm not taking anything. I mean, that's being creative what they do because everything's pre-recorded now. So basically, a lot of bands that everything's pre-recorded. They just sit there with the volume right down and they're just playing along, and then it gives you that impression. Wow.
Man, these
But
guys-
yeah, because it covers your mistakes. The sound's good. You know, so now you got the core, you got all these instruments now that you can pre-record everything. It's just okay, play the one song, boom, and then and then everyone just follows along. But everything's been. It's sad in a way because when you like you're like me. I love to see a live band. I love to see a drummer. I love to see the whole thing than just seeing 2 people on the keyboard and one singer. So and that essence of and it's give the essence of a band. Where you like to. I like to see a band. You know.
I think it's also the fault of the band culture here in Auckland. Because when I think about Melbourne, you know, a lot of bands leave New Zealand to go to Melbourne because there's a big band scene there. There's a live music scene.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole city of Melbourne has a big music scene. That's how Crowded House.
Yeah.
Of
course.
How they sort of came up, but I think all it takes is an incentive for councils or, you know, especially out west with the bars out here to just, you know, try to get an incentive for bars to get live bands in.
Yep.
Just open that up.
Yeah.
And then more people will start, you know, making up bands again. And, you know, and of course, people will come.
Yeah.
You know, if they, you know, live music, people will come.
You know, the one thing about the one thing that, you know, having all this pre-recorded stuff takes away from being a band is those impromptu solos. You know, because you know you see it when people get on that when they get into the zone and they go off on a big riff on the guitar and the drummer goes off. You can't do that, you know, because you've already recorded.
It's all programmed, Yeah. We're back in when you got the band, you can say, okay, let's go back to the chorus.
Right.
Let's go to the bridge.
I love when I see the lead singer go like that because you know,
let's beat it.
The crowd's going,
so that's the sign, you know. Say, okay, that's the outro. Let's fade it out, or let's repeat the last line. You know, that's the chorus. You know, that's verse 1, verse 2. So the main singer goes this, and the band knows. You can't do that when it's pre-recorded.
Yeah.
You have to wait until the whole thing's finished. You know, and that's the sad thing about it. The sounds good, but when it comes to those little things, you know, you can't beat that. Because when you're playing a song and the people just want to dance and you don't want to end it.
Yeah.
But when you're recording, it's going to come to an end, and people are just getting into it. Because some people, they don't come in on the floor until halfway of the song, and then it's coming to the end of the song, and then the song finishes. They go, "Hey, what happened there?" Sort of thing. Where the band will just say, "Okay, let's repeat the song." You know, so they can go back. And the other thing is, there's plenty of time for the drum solo. I know they love the drum solo where you know you play the song and then the drum just goes doom ding doom doom and everyone's just moving around. So you can do that with the band. That's the advantage, and that's how good it gets than having the pre-recorded stuff. Or just sad enough that I see a lot of bands. I hardly see drummers now.
Yeah.
I hardly see drum sets. Drummer.
You see them with the little square box in there, and I'm like, that's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same. Not that look. Yeah.
You see them sweating hard. That's what music is.
It was. Yeah, back in the days when we used to play Mataanga mainly. We were playing on the stage. The stage would be about this big here. So I'll be in the middle because I was a drummer. So I'll be here, my brothers would be there, my sisters would be at the front. And at the back there were 2 doors. Bro, when I was playing back in the stage, we had people looking. You know, you had your own little fans, and then they'll bring their chairs and they'll sit on the side there, you know.
Man, awesome.
And then you really be Mika back there. and then sometimes you hit the cymbal and the stick is flying. It was back in those days when the drums, when you use the drums, So you had people coming, especially at Mataanga. Yeah, when you have Siva, they would sit up there and create a crowd. It was just, I just really enjoyed back in, and Manhattan's had their own, back in those days, when Manhattan's had the phones.
Yeah.
Do you remember that
and
time?
the booths, yeah.
And every time we played there, the band would leave their drums and all that, so we would use their gear, so yeah. So it was good, Manhattan back then, especially the setup it was, yeah. I think it's changed now.
I did not know bands did those pre-recording things.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
Ah, I didn't know that.
It's either the drums are pre-recorded with the keyboard, a little bit of keyboard. The bass can play live, but probably the drums is a bit of strings, bit of keyboard, and someone can play the guitar and play the bass live, or else it can be, you can turn the bass on and then the bass if he just wants to. Yeah, a lot of it's pre-recorded because I mean if you think about it, the two keyboards and the drums come in and you think, well, where's a drummer?
Yeah.
Or sometimes you can hear a guitar, but there's no guitarist.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, so you got to have that ear. Then you hear, oh, where's the strings? There's no one playing the strings, so everything's it depending on what they depending on where they're playing and what they have to have to prepare for their set.
I would feel so ripped off.
I was going to say that because, you know, you go to these places and you see there's 6 people up there, and then, like I remember I went to a wedding recently, and I saw the bass guy, and he was like that, and he was looking around, and I could hear the bass playing, and I was thinking, wait, is this? That's when I realized I already knew that, you know, these guys would, you know, because you see them push the button here, and then the bass will come in, you see every different thing, and I thought, they're charging so much, and yet,
Yeah,
you know,
that's one thing, bro.
because you charge because when you get a band, you're getting everyone that's coming on to play an instrument. But if you've got a band coming, there's only 2 guys. One just has to owe me the button.
Yeah.
Why are you paying?
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I've seen a lot of that because I do a lot of backing tracks. A lot of people come to me and say, I can give a few backing tracks here, so I'll just do the backing track. They take it, and they just got 2 singers, and then it just goes into the system, and the backing track's playing, they just singing. And especially at places like RSAs and all that sort of stuff, 2-man band, where they can't play any instruments, so they have a backing track. And sometimes they just grab my karaoke online and use that, which works at that sort of places. But when it comes to socials, it's a whole different, different feel. So yeah, I miss that quite a bit. The drum scene. I mean, the actual band scene. So yeah, but yeah, a lot of bands now are just keyboards and they got drum pads. They just and then some of them have got the drum thing with.
Yeah, that's right. And we see them, you know, and because, you know, when they had the argument when, you know, they had playing a record and playing a CD, and they said like there's no better sound than when you play a record because they said it's a more fuller sound.
Yeah.
Hey? And you must know that because you know.
Yeah, of course.
And then I guess that's the same as listening to someone hit a drum and live, and hearing someone push a button and hearing the same sound.
There's a lot of reasons why they do it because there's no one that can play a bass guitar. The sound is another thing. They don't have to worry about tuning or anything. It's already been recorded. They know exactly what's going to come out. You know, so it's a lot of. That's why they record it. So there's no mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of bands when they play it live, they make mistakes, either wrong key or wrong. So getting it pre-recorded saves all that.
Yeah. It's just the convenience of it. Eh? You don't have to pay extra bandmen to remember if you.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. Yeah, it's just convenience. It's just one button and we're on. You know,
and no one's going to be checking. I mean, the backing vocals have all been sorted.
Yeah, and the guitarist doesn't have to. He can make as many mistakes as long as he looks good. Just turn your thing down, and then he just plays. And he just looks good. You know, so I mean, I think if that's the way things are going, well, that's the way it is. You know, I'm not taking it from any band out there doing it, but if it works for them, it works for them. But then a lot of people like ourselves, we do have our own little thought about it. You know, think, So,
you know, being in the band early, is that where you learned some of the business side of things?
On the business side of things, bro,
because you've had businesses in the past.
I have
so being in the band and learning the business side, did that help you, or make you think, oh, I'm going to do this, I know what.
No, well, music was totally different from the business side of things, because art was my other gift. Drawing. You know, when I was at college, I used to do a lot of drawing. I used to do patches back in the day, the stormtroopers and the black power and the headhunters. So I used to do all the patches. Give it to my friends and all that sort of stuff. When I was in Odu College in 1982, there was me and this guy named Akara Harua, a Kukaana guy. So it was only me and him every art we've done, they put it on the foyer,
Oh.
you know, for people to look. So, and then we've done a little bit of screen printing, and this was with curtain, you know, the curtain, what do you call it, the lace. So we used to we create a box, we'll lay this, and then we'll cut, and then that's how we used to learn how to screen print. So screen printing I've always loved screen printing. And then as you do, you know, I had to work. So all that stuff that I wanted to do screen printing, I had to put aside because I had to make the bucks, I had to work and all that sort of stuff, put food on the table, etc. And then finally when I left my job, I thought, oh, maybe this is a good time to do screen printing. So I went on, 95, I went on a screen printing course for 1 year, done a diploma in that. And while I was at the course, I made some customers, you know, and then from there, I started to get a little machine, started to do some T-shirt printing, and then client after client after client. So I did that from 1995 to 2000 as part-time, having a full-time and part-time as well. Yeah. So it got to the stage where it was 8 hours a year, at your main job, 8 hours at home. The money was good, you know, but I got to work one day and I went to sleep on the job. My boss came up and said, hey, you got to choose. You know, you either choose me or you go do what you want to do. You know, he said, come tomorrow and let me know. So, you know, I came and went to sleep, woke up, had a good think, you know, I really had to go, what should I do? And I thought, oh, I'll follow my passion. I'm gonna step out and do this, you know. Because I already had clients, you know, I already had clients. Because I was printing for a lot of people at the flea markets then, in that time. So went to my boss, okay, I want to do my own thing. You know, I didn't know, I thought he was going to get angry, but he said, okay, look, I know what he's trying to do. I've been there myself. You know, when he started his business, he was the same, done the same thing. Yeah, and he said, look, I want you to go and pursue your what you want to do. Go and do your screen printing, and I'll help you. I went, oh. He said, you go find a place. So I found a place in Lincoln Road. It's not there anymore. There's a big construction thing going on, but across the road is Pack and Save, up on Lincoln Road there, yeah. So I found a place there, and then my boss said to me, okay, Eddie, here's $5,000. Yeah, here's $5,000 to buy some, you know, you can pay me that later once you're established. So that gave me a good start. And then I started my business in 2000 from there, you know, until about 2006, where I was told to move because the Bible College wanted to use it for something else. It was totally different from what it was before. And then I went over to Bruce Mac, and I was there 2006, 2007. That's when I met Roos, the rooster. Yeah, he was just across the road. I was just sitting there having a smoke, and he's driving his four-hoist. You know, we were just going, hey, what's up? And then one day he came over after work. He came and sat there and said, bro, I'm rapping in this weekend. Can you make me a T-shirt? I said, oh, yeah. So I done him a T-shirt and went to his gig. And then we became sort of friends from there. And then one day I was printing, because I was doing the hours back then. And then he came with his box. What was a beer? He sat there and started drinking. I was like, this guy. And then, you know, we started talking. And then I said, hey, come here, hop on that machine over there. So the man hopped on the machine. And he goes, oh, bro, it's all right if I have a few. And I said, yeah, go for it, man. So I just showed him what to do. And he started printing. And then it was like the next week, okay, you got some more work, come. And then the man just came in and we just started learning more printing. And now the man's working for a big company. And I said, wow, he came a long way, bro. Yeah. I don't know if he's still working for Stars Graphics because they moved over to the shore.
Yeah. We see, you know, we were talking about our company that we deliver to those guys.
Oh, right.
Graphics, yeah. So, it's out of it. With the stuff that we have to drop off, it's for the big banners and stuff like that. We've been taking over to them too. So,
oh, right, yes.
Such a small world, you know.
Yeah. And then when I heard Linga here, and then I thought, wow, that's because I didn't know Linga was going out with my daughter, and Linga came over when I was in Brisbane to do some T-shirts for St. Paul's for the Polyfest. So yeah, I met Linga, and then my daughter said, Dad, can you just show him doing some printing and do it? Yeah. So Linga came on, done some work. Now the man's on his feet now, you know, doing this thing. So
he came in through the...
Yeah, he came through that.
Yeah.
And not only them, but there's a lot of other guys. Because I used to do a program called Gateway for the schools. So people, if kids wanted to learn more about art or screen printing, the school would send them to me. and then they'll come. I go my 2 weeks work experience. I had a lot of students come through, you know, from Massey to Waitak to Liston, Kelston. Yeah, we had a few guys come through. So I spent 2 weeks with them. But I don't know about the funding. I could have went for some funding back then. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I just got certificates of appreciation. Thank you for all of this stuff. And yeah, so it gave me satisfaction doing business because I knew I could help a lot of people with that. But the music scene was different altogether. It was the business was different. The music was different. But I still, you know, when I used to work, man, I was just full blast old school. You know, my kids grown up, they know all the old school stuff there is because they grew up with it. I just used to play it all around the place. Yeah. So I had I done a video business. What else did I do? I done quite a few things back in my days. Not long terms, but you know, here and there sort of thing. But T-shirts and graphics would be my main source of business and income.
That's an amazing story, because you would have had, you know, you're a father, and you know you would have had your kids, and you're putting bread on the table, and then for you to make that decision, because a lot of people, they always, you know, they grow, you know, they get older and they go, man, I wish I'd just followed my dream, or you know, and they have that, man, I wish this and that, but you actually done it, you know, and that's crazy. And the other thing is, you had a boss. Well, he must have been a friend because he invested in it because
Grant O'Sullivan's his name, Palangi.
Yeah,
he came from right down and worked his way up, you know, and could never forget him. Very, very nice man. He actually, when he used to smoke, he used to come to us and tell us to keep an eye on his wife. His wife didn't like him smoking. And then 2004, he came up to my work. He said, "Hey Ed, how's it going?" I said, "Oh, good." And he had a look. Oh, he was really proud. And then we had a good talk. He had a smoke. And then he left. And he turned around to me and said, "Ed, remember that $5,000 you owe me?" I said, "Yes, don't worry about it."
Whoa.
Yeah, he passed away as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, so so that's how I got the privilege of that. But unfortunately, in 2007, the business, because there were a few street businesses closing down, so I had the clients as well. Oh. It was the peak of the business. Money was coming in from everywhere. You know, my kids would get sick of Burger King. There's no time to cook.
Yeah.
Well, what do you need? We'll go and back in those days, with barter card. Remember barter card? Yeah, done that. We used to spend all our barter card at Tony's Grill on Henderson. Yes. And so we had no cooking, no cooking. My wife didn't cook, I didn't cook, so like Burger King, whatever they wanted, because the money was there, the business was good, but we had to do the hours. You know, at one stage, we were printing for 8 people at the markets.
Damn.
Yeah, 8 stores. And the main one was Fat Islanders back then. They were dominating the market. So, but I didn't. It was like, don't tell them I print for you, all right? Because it would have caused a bit of a
conflict of interest.
Conflict of interest. But we did do that, and in 2007, and unfortunately, my wife got crook. Yeah, she got crook, and took her to the doctor. She just was diagnosed with anemic blood problem. So the doctor said, "Okay, mate, this is it. You either find someone to look after your wife full time, or you look after your wife yourself." But that time was like business was so good. And then it wasn't hard to work out. I said to myself, "No, I'll stay look after my wife." So then I found someone to take over, a Filipino friend of mine. So he sort of took over, and then I had to send the boys, like Selinga and Rouge, to Styles Graphics. And then that's how they started forming a team there. And then while I was winding down, I took some of my stuff home when I was living here in Kelston. So I was still doing the old cash job and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, that's when that came to an end. And when my business came to an end, it was sad. It was sad in a way, but I'm sure I did I made the right choice. And I was looking after my wife for 6 years. You know, we went to Oz. She felt a bit better when we came back. Now she's working now. It's the 3rd year at Kmart.
Awesome.
Yeah, so praise the Lord. He's You know, he's done many good things, you know, for us, for our family anyway. But in saying that, like, you know, like when we came back, my kids said, Dad, you know, you've done the hard yards, you know, and looking after, you know, 6, 7 kids, you know, it wasn't easy. You know, you had to do that. You had to get that overtime. You had to, and the wages were really bad back then. You know, I didn't even seek help with wins or anything 'cause I didn't know. You know, it was just but I'm glad I did it. You know, looked after them and put food on the table for them up to the time they, you know, where they are now. Now they're grown up, they have their own families and all that. Yeah, and then when they said that to me, 2017, I was like, okay, if you feel like that, yeah, I'm happy about that. So now they, sorry, Ray, I'll just. They probably wonder, hey, where's the yeah. So in saying that, I praise God for where I am now. You know, now I can do what I want to do now. You know, with the time that I have. You know, and what I always wanted to do, and that was to give people opportunities through the music video, whatever. And not only that, educational things, and you know, helping in that area as well. Yeah. So.
Man, you're onto something big because I can just sitting from here and listening to your story, the potential it's huge.
Yeah.
Because when you talk, well, I know I'm taking this back, but when you talk about the opportunities to educate our kids, you know, we have the standard stuff that comes out of the Ministry of Education and stuff like that. But when you've got someone with your knowledge and vision in that, I just can't see it not
yeah.
not you know
yeah.
not making it big because
I've always been like the funny guy in the family, you know, doing jokes and all that sort of stuff. I do, you know, I used to do for the kids. They were, Uncle, can you Donald Duck? Can you do? Because I used to like doing like impersonations and all that sort of stuff. So I thought bringing that on the table to do like trailers. Remember we were talking about, you know, we hear trailers, movies, you know, really hyping us up, and then we look at our Samoan movies, and so we're sort of offering that, hey, we'll do a trailer for your movie in Samoan. So we're open to that. We can do that now. We've got the studio to do it, you know, to do gimmicks, to do soundtracks, to do whatever within the music, create music, whether it's for school education, whether it's for yourself, whether it's for your band, or whether it's for your church. You know, we can do that. We can offer that. So yeah.
Yeah. So social media has given us that platform for anybody to create something to advertise themselves or organizations or whatever it is. And you know, I think your studio is that place where people can create to put on social media as well.
Yeah, I mean, we have to take advantage of social media because it's free, and that's what's so good about it, and it's easy to access, and it's to the whole world.
Yeah.
So you know, if you've got anything that you want to, you know, it's right there. You know, it's right there, and you know, and we need to take hold of that, you know, embrace that what we have.
So it's funny how we were talking before. We're talking about the kids, how they use social media, how they use devices, and that when, you know, we talked about consuming versus creating.
Yeah.
And creating is where it's at.
Yeah, creating. Yes.
Try and get the kids to create, right?
Yes.
Consume more.
Yep. Another big thing on social media or YouTube is tutorials. You know, teaching people how to play a guitar. You know, it's the educational stuff that you can get on YouTube now. Man, it's just so big. You know, you can from changing a lawnmower tire to you know, you just don't know how to change it, and then went boom, and you get a few videos.
Yeah,
that's how we're learning.
That's crazy,
now. Yeah, I mean, I learned how to make koko Samoa. I learned how to make chop suey on Popo's kitchen. Yeah. Hey, there's a funny story. One time we were living in Palma Ave, and my kids come home from seeing their uncle. Said, Dad, Uncle can make the best koko leisa. Oh, what? The best koko leisa, man. It was so good. Can you make it? You know, they give you these challenges. I said, I can beat Uncle's mate anytime. No, I can't even make it. So they said, okay, Dad, come on then. You show us if you can make it better than Uncle. I said, okay then. So I went into the cupboard. Okay, I've got the rice. We need the koko. You guys better go down. There's a shop in Brismac. Get a koko from there. Make sure it's a Samoan koko. So they hop in the car and they go, well, they didn't get a YouTube. How to make koko reisa. Yeah. So I came across the pani popo. Then do this. Okay. You got it? Okay, put the rice in. So I just had coconut cream and whatever was there.
Yeah.
And when I made it was very delicious, very nice.
Better than the uncles,
Yeah, my kids. How was that? Oh, Dad, that was beautiful. I told you. But it was through YouTube. And that's, I mean, I don't know about the courses where you go now. I think, man, everything's on YouTube now as far as tutorial, whatever you want to learn. Anything, eh? Or,
It's funny how you said change the lawnmower tire and that. Even the most things that you think they wouldn't have on, like changing the light inside, stuff like that. It's just at your fingertips now, eh?
Yeah.
It's crazy now, and I think that there's a market. Like you've identified the market that.
Yeah. The only thing I'm sad about, we've got the like of TikTok. I don't know if you guys go on TikTok. I just go there for a laugh. In fact, I go there before I sleep, just scrolling under the funny ones.
Yeah.
But then when you come across all the Samoan ones, all the content on there now where they go, shh. Why you comment? They're getting back at whatever the comment, and they're using it for that sort of stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh. Because I remember TikTok when it first came out, it was it was all that, and then all of that, all the Samoans start hopping on it, and then next minute, everyone's, so I'm looking at it, it's got, so, but I mean, social media is there for us to enjoy, what it gives and what we can give. But, it also comes with a lot of abuse and a lot of all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, what can you do about it, You can't really do much about it then, then just do what you got to do, sort of thing. So, yeah.
With your studio, are you looking at creating like your own sort of like network? Or these ideas you have about education, these are just for other getting people to come in and create something? Or
it's just a service. It's just like a service, for now. It's just a service to say, okay, we can do this for you. If you've got a project that you need a backing track, if you've got a project, then we can, if you want to record a song, of course. Not as far as corporate. If I want money, then I'll look for a sponsor to sponsor whatever I'm doing. So that's the thing I'm looking at. So, so I'm not looking at it as a commercial, full-on recording studio where you just get anyone come record. That's it. So I just want to use it to the best I can with the abilities that I have. To turn it into something more than just a recording studio, something educational. You can even teach too. You can teach. You can teach people how to sing as well, how to use their vocal, and all that sort of stuff. At least it's broad. It's pretty. It just depends. You could be someone that might want something. Okay, tell me what you want. I've got a backing track that I want to do for this. Okay, what? Give me the. So I create it. I create the music, the whole music. And all that sort of stuff.
Like you have the platform on YouTube with the Club Kareoke.
Yeah.
Like, would you expand on that and make other shows on your own?
But it all comes down to time and everything, because it's growing. That my YouTube channel Club Kareoke is growing pretty quickly. I can't even keep up with. If I put one song up a week, it's all right. But now I've been like 3 weeks. I haven't put anything up. But it's just growing. It's just building and that sort of stuff. I always wanted to maybe do a live karaoke where everyone can interact, and it's there if I wanted it to go that way. So there's a lot of but there's so many things going on that I just want to focus on what I have. So I just let the karaoke, whoever wants to use the karaoke, they can use it. But where I am is exactly where I want it to be. Yeah.
Talking about your karaoke channel on YouTube, are you at the stage where you're able to earn money from it?
Yeah.
So it's monetized?
It's monetized, yeah.
Oh, awesome.
So it's monetized, yeah, because, the threshold is 1,000 subscribers, 4,000 hours of watch time. Once you reach that threshold, then you can start making, it's not a lot of money, but it's something.
Yeah.
It's something, because YouTube takes most of the portion.
Yeah.
And Google, because it's between those two. And then you just get whatever. But It's something. It's royalty money where you create it, let it go, and then all of a sudden, hey, you got a couple $100 in your bank
Nice.
account. You know, and that's just something that you just leave. I just leave it, and then every 23rd of the month, you get paid. You get paid. So if I wanted to make money and I focus on that, I would make a website, a subscription, where people can subscribe for a year. You know, for example, you say $48 a year to subscribe, you get all the music. I mean, that's a good deal for a whole year. But you imagine getting 5,000 subscribers, you know, at $48. I mean, that can happen. I think I've got about nearly 10,000 subscribers there on there. But it's free. It's free for everyone to grab. You know, you don't have to. I said, if you want to use it, just go use it.
Yeah.
If you want to, yeah. So I mean, the potential to make money on YouTube is massive. If you've got an idea, if you've got something that you want to share, especially tutorials, that's what makes big money. Tutorials when you're teaching. Yeah, you can make money within 6 months.
Do you have I know when Cam shows us the stats, like where most of our listeners come from, where they're based.
Yeah.
When you look at the breakdown of where everyone's coming from on your YouTube page, where's the main?
Oh, okay.
Where's the main audience? Or where's
it's the main because you go into your back office and it gives you the analytics of what's happening.
Yep.
Yeah. So the main is America.
Oh, okay.
At 100%, America is probably about 40%. Yeah. You know, you got America, Seattle, all those areas. Yeah, all. New Zealand's only about 5%. Australia's about 10%. Then you got all these little countries that you never thought of. You know, you even got Germany, Russia, where you're getting all these where people are watching your videos. Yeah, so America is the majority.
So, you know, when you're doing what is your main? So is it a lot of Samoan songs that you're putting up for karaoke, or do you just put up whatever song you feel like?
No, I don't, because you know. Everyone's doing the Palangi, the karaoke. Right. Where I specialise in Pacific Islander because we our own one.
There's a niche for that.
Yeah, there's a niche for it. You know, and because I have done some Fijian ones. I've had a lot of requests for more, but it's a matter of because I don't really know any Fijian songs. I just go and look for a lyric and a tune. I've got a couple on there, but I'm more into Samoan because I understand and know the music. So probably about 90%, 80%. Of the karaoke songs on there are Samoan songs, you know. So I don't, because you know, karaoke you meant to make it sound like the original. I try to move away from that because, you know, just keep you create your own version. Well, people still like it because you just want to get away from the original and do something different. Yeah. So there's quite a few. I think about 62 songs on the Club Kareoke. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was shocked when a while ago, you know, when you have a few lagers, a few beverages, and then we went on YouTube, you know, and we have a YouTube karaoke party, and when I saw Samoan songs there, I was like, someone's gone out of their way to actually put this down. Yeah. And I always thought, man, this would blow up. You know, I'm sure. I asked you that question about the karaoke because I thought you'd done all the music, but because of you're in that niche, you're in the Pacific Island thing. Do you think it's the people in America love it because it's kind of like a taste of home? You know, it's all the older people that have migrated over to like you said, Seattle. I've got an uncle in Seattle, you know, and it's kind of like their chance of, you know, because they're not going to go turn on the exactly. But if you can go on YouTube and you can sing all those old Samoan songs,
and that's what it is. You're right. You got all the Samoans that have moved over there. They hardly hear any of our stuff here.
Like us, we hear it every day.
Yeah, we hear it every day. You know, we used to, you know. But over there, they hardly get this sort of stuff. I mean, my cousin lives in Seattle. I always send her stuff. I was go to my website and enjoy the music there. So they hardly, but when they get it, they really embrace it. They just keep playing it because it's Samoan, it's theirs.
Yeah,
you know, and you never get it over there. So we you know, fortunately, us Kiwis have to create it for them over there. You know, and we listen to some of their stuff.
Yeah.
Totally different as well, you know, their way of music compared to our way of music, sort of stuff. So I think that's why 40% have it, because they miss the music so much, and there's not much going their way, unless they look up on YouTube and what's out, you know. Yeah,
we've had musical guests come in, your son being one of them. They have said that in their analytics, New Zealand's number 3 on the list.
Oh, right.
Number 1 and 2 is either Australia or USA.
Oh, right,
New Zealand's like number 3. So.
Yeah, number 3, yeah. Yeah. My one's like New Zealand's not. Yeah, New Zealand's up there, but it's not like it's probably because you got America, and you've got other countries even before New Zealand. Australia's big on there. Probably 20% is Australia. Like you say, New Zealand's probably 10%. Of the karaoke, I think the remixes might be a different sort of thing altogether. I don't know what Eddie's up to with his stuff. I don't know how. I think he's selling his stuff online now or something.
Yeah.
Not too sure. I don't hardly keep up with the guy. You know?
Yeah, he said that New Zealand was number 3 on this list.
Oh, number 3, yeah.
But I think it's only because the market's saturated. I mean, because you've got New FM, so you can hear Samoan or island music there. You've got Radio Samoa, which is on 24 hours. So, for us, it's a way of life, eh? We just masangi to it, and we've got so many other avenues or so many other exposure to it. So, like you said, you can see all those people. Well, there must be islanders in Germany who just long for that, some Samoan music,
Of course. Yeah. I mean, my cousin is always saying, "Cuz, send some music over. Send some new music over," And when I'm always getting that from her, because that's what they're missing over there. We get so much of it over here and over the Tasman, but they're not getting, much over there. So,
So that's pretty crazy how you picking up a guitar, when you in the early 70s, hanging out with your cousins and your brothers, and you've come now you sound like this computer. Like you're a computer savvy, pretty because you'd have to be because keeping up with social media and doing the studio and that.
Yeah.
When did you really embrace like having to become computer literate?
Probably in business. Because I'm a freelance artist, so I can just draw. You say, okay, bro, here's a time I draw it. The customers used to come and say, okay, we want an island, we want a family reunion, we want an island, we want Tamasese family reunion, we want a shark coming down here. So I would draw it. That's a rough drawing, They had no computers back then, about late 90s. So anyway, I would draw it, and then they'll look and say, okay, can you make the shark a bit bigger? And and then I'll go to the library, because no Google back then. I'll go to the library, I'll go to the Charitable Library, get some references, get some photos of a shark, then I'll photocopy them, then I'll cut and paste the design, and then I'll redraw it. And then, man, I thought it was time consuming. That's how it was. And then the computer came in. So with the computer, I started to learn how to do graphics. At the same time, having music software where I can listen to music and all that sort of stuff. So it sort of came in together in that sense. And then from music to how to record, how to play your guitar through because all that was sort of new, and so you just had to learn. No one will show you. You wouldn't, you just had to learn your way through. With the help of a couple of friends, they'll, okay, try this. So I think everything that I've learned was all self-taught, but it took a long time. It was a lot of dedication, a lot of commitment because you just had to spend the time to learn. Otherwise you wouldn't, and then when YouTube came out in 2006, 2007, there wasn't much stuff on there, but, you could see what was coming. A lot of people were teaching how to do this. If you want to use Mixmeister, you want to do I think Eddie was using Mixmeister, LimeWire, if you want to download it, all those ancient programs back then. So it was the computer that sort of set it all up with the music, because back in the day you just had your band. There was nothing to record it, and then when the computer age came, and then you could record through an interface, plug a guitar in, record it straight into the computer. So the computer did play a big part in getting to know on how to record, and whatever software or program was there for you to learn and to produce something. I was always into producing. I always wanted to learn how to do this, learn how to do that, learn how to do this. So trial and error. A lot of errors, but you learn from all that sort of stuff.
Because you would have been, because you said the late 90s and that, there was like this really big, like, it just moved forward, like, from, like you said, the computers and that, you were learning as it was growing. You know what I mean? You're not like somebody who's come and then everything's been set out because, like, if you went to it now, you could, someone could learn everything from just watching YouTube. And then you've had to go.
Yeah, I went the long way.
Yeah, you've had to source the information yourself.
When I was in business, someone came to me and said, "Hey, bro, I got a file here. It's got my artwork," and I said, "Okay, but I haven't got the software to open it." So he goes, "Okay, I'll do it." So they upload the software so it'll work, and then so that stayed on my computer, and then he downloaded me this program called Corel Draw. It was Corel 1, first edition. So now there's Corel 20. So so you learn from Corel 1. It was just making postcards and Christmas cards, and that's what I did. So I had to sort of adjust my work with what was there. It wasn't much. So from Corel 1 I went to Corel 3, Corel 7, Special Edition, and the Corel 10, 11, 13. Now I've got Corel 20. So I've seen the
how it's evolved, the evolution.
The evolution of it from 1 to 20. So you've been saying that, I've seen a lot of changes and everything, even with Photoshop and that sort of stuff too.
That graphic and design, it's a big deal for content creators these days. I remember Eddie telling us when he came on how they needed a lot of graphics for their posters and for their live shows, their events and that. So every week they need someone had to come up with a poster and have all the graphics on there.
Yeah,
that was pretty.
Yeah, I'm still doing a lot of their stuff.
Yeah,
because they did have someone. I think he's gone to Australia. So Eddie, because I'm busy, Eddie sort of he tries not to bother me in that sense. So, but sometimes Dad, we need this flyer by Kenny, so I'll just whip it up. I think the last one I did was a couple of days ago. So it's having all that as well, the graphics, because that's another different part of what I do. So even websites, if someone says to me, "Hey, can you do us a website?" So you can whip up a website as well. So all those things go hand in hand. And now with music, you can create a whole new, with graphics, you can apply that to your YouTube page, make it nice and get that island feel where a lot of it's defaulted stuff. Where you only have to use this. So with me, I can create my own images. So it's a lot of so I've come a long way with what I have. Now I'm putting it all together now. All my learning processes and all that stuff. So now I'm putting it all together as what I have now. Yeah.
Do you get interested in your son's DJing? Do you talk to him about it? Do you go and try to learn?
I love what he does.
That's all about.
I love what the man does. I remember I used to have a friend, Junior Sartelli. He used to, I think he was, forget what his DJ name was, but I used to bring his mixes, and Eddie used to listen to them. So he was like, I think he sort of opened it up for Eddie. And then I had an old computer, and I saw the guy. I think he was interested in music. He was doing something. I don't know what happened. But anyway, I said, "Do you like that? You like doing that?" He said, "Yeah." This is back in 2000. Oh man, I forget 2002 or something, 2003. So I bought him a computer, and I put Mixmaster in there, and so he started playing around. And he came up with some good stuff. And then I said to him, "Hey, bro, can you do some of my old stuff?" So he done something, but I wasn't happy with it because I know what I wanted, but Eddie was just doing the way he knew how to do it. So I ended up learning how to use Mixmaster. Then I started doing my own ring. But then he just took it to the next level, and then that guy was he's really passionate for what he does. I remember when he used to print for me. Yeah, and I always tell Eddie, come do some t-shirts. He used to come do some t-shirts. And one day he came, he was printing, he was drunk, I think. I didn't know. And then he was printing a t-shirt. And I can hear my machine always spins around because it's a cycle. Like you print one and you turn the machine around and you print another one. So you always hear the cycle going. And it stopped. It stopped for 5 minutes. I was in the office going, "Hey." I went and look, the man was asleep. And I said, hey, what are you doing? And then he finally told me, "Dad, printing is you, but it's not me." Music is. I knew. His mind was here, but his heart was music, and I realized that. And so I just left it at that. You go pursue your whatever you've done. Yeah. So from there, I didn't sort of he had his little gang. I don't know if Eddie told you about his little gang, his FEA gang, and then he got FEA, you know, and that's how he got his name and all that sort of stuff. Well, it was funny back in the days because I was really hard on Eddie, you know, with his mates and all that. I mean, even though it was this little group of friends there, fish and chips and all that sort of stuff. And one day I brought a little carpet. It was about 2 meters by 2 meters for them to break dance, because Eddie was into his break dance. To bring all his mates. They used to come and drink and all that sort of stuff, and I used to get angry at it. And then one day I started graffitiing on that
carpet?
Yeah, on the carpet, the vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
You know, yeah. And he got so angry, and oh man, it was just, you know, we had those little things going on between me and Eddie. But when I look at his progression and his passion and his commitment, you know, he's done a really, you know, and I'm really. You know, I'm really happy about that. That he's carried on the music in his way, how he wants to do it. And I've never sort of stepped in. I've just let him do what he, you know. And I think that's what's made him who he is now. You know, just to leave him, let him discover, let him, you know. So yeah, so I'm quite proud of his his achievement and wherever he's taking it to and that sort of stuff. But I don't really. Because I've got my own thing going, I don't really, you know, he only comes to me, Dad, I've done this, or Dad, I've done that. Oh, yeah, that's good then.
I've no doubt that you're proud of your son, because he's done what you did. I mean, you pursued your passions, and you're doing what you love. You left your job to do what you love.
Yeah.
And that's similar to what Eddie's done.
Yeah, he's left his job, you know, and he's...
to do what he loves.
Yeah, stepping into
and
faith.
He's making a successful career out of it.
Yeah, he is. He is making a... He's stepping out to follow his heart, you know. And I said to him, you know, it's not easy. You'll come across a lot of stumbling blocks, but this is where you're going to test how, you know, what sort of character you are, and it's going to be a good challenge for you. Yeah. So I think he's learning as he's going, especially when the COVID hit. That's right. He lost a lot of...
He was our last guest before COVID, before the lockdown.
Right, yes.
He had just told us he'd left his job and he was, you know, going with this group of DJs, and they had all these jobs lined up. And I think 2 weeks later, COVID hit, and we you know, our heart went out to Eddie because, you know, he was telling us the sacrifices that he had made, you know, and, you know, but he was telling us about his partner and the kids. And
yeah.
So, you know, we had to get him back straight after, not long after COVID, and he shared his journey, you know, because he instead of dwelling on it, he took advantage of that opportunity, because he said, "Oh, I've got downtime," and so he started making those other mixes and started selling them, and he was just telling us how he was getting, like he said, he talked about people from America emailing him, you know, do you have PayPal and all that? So he's like, he had to learn all these new things because, you know, he's being bombarded with all these things like, can we transfer it through this? Do you have to exchange, you know, do you have exchange American dollars into New Zealand dollars and that? So, you know, that's, I guess where he gets it from is from you, is his chance, his ability to adapt. Because, you know, instead of thinking, man, you know, chucking it all in, he just went, no, I'm going to embrace this.
Yeah, and I advise that, you know, use what we've got now, man. Open up a YouTube page. You know, do this, start making some money. You know, it's there. It's there for the taking. You know, if you don't do anything with it, well, you're not going to get nothing out of it. You know, start creating. You know, start finding places where you can make your money, where you can sell, you know, an MP3 and tell him to pay what he's doing now. Because it's the only way you're going to survive. You got no job now, and this is your job, you know. So you've got to go everywhere to find whatever you can get, you know, and take advantage of what you have. You know, people want to listen to your, you know, to your mixes and everything. Come up with new stuff all the time. So I think he's doing okay. Sometimes he comes, hear that for $60. Oh, is that all? you know, so. You know, he comes in now and then, and, you know, or he's had a good day and that stuff, So I said to him, man, you can make money. You can make money with your own, you know, with what you have. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah. It's just that it just goes to show that people want your content, you know, and that's how you succeed. Yeah.
It's funny because our last episode we had, we talked about how they were struggling to get support in New Zealand. for their music, eh?
Oh, right, yes.
Because they get a lot of support from Australia and USA, but
Yeah.
again, New Zealand's like down in the list in the
Yeah,
analytics, and I think Isaiah, he was saying, he mentioned the tall poppy syndrome. So people don't really want to. Oh, people support you from afar.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, but hearing your story seems like it's not the case for you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
So is it different for people, or is it just the content itself? Is it, or is it just?
I think
is it just a certain niche? Or,
I think it's a bit of both. I think a lot of people like his content. I mean, I think there's a certain age that like his content. You know, where if you go, I don't know if he's looked at his analytics, what the ages are that tune in. It could be 30 to 40. So if you look at it, most of them's below 50. And I think it's just that era where he's at is that's where the people are at now as well. So if, I mean, for me, it wouldn't be my sort of, my. So you will never find any 50s, 60s people listening in because it's just not their cup of tea sort of thing. If he was to bring in the old school, yes, I would. That's what I said to Ed. I'll make my own one. So yeah. So if I did something, maybe I can get that side of the market. Where Eddie is in that 30s or maybe 20s, 30s, 40s bracket. Where it's a niche place. There's a lot. Maybe that's where the majority of people listening. And with his niche, he can mash up anything sort of to cater for anybody. Than just that particular era where he's forgetting about the other, where he can bring everything together, a mash up together for everyone to cater for everybody.
When we had him on, it's funny how you talked about back in the days how you knew the formula for the Sievers, and you start with the slow waltz and like you could really read the crowd in there.
Yeah.
He was telling us when he was doing his slow jam, he had what was the name of this? The Moonlight, the slow jam mix.
Yeah, the Moonlight.
Yeah,
mix.
And he was telling us how he got a piece of paper, paper and pen, and he just wrote down all the songs that he loved, and then he just said he just went through a process of elimination and that, and I think that's why people love his music, because you can tell there's a lot of thought has gone into it. That's what proper planning gets you.
Yes, exactly.
It's not like this. I'm going to mix this. This part.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, it's not. He really, and when he told me that, I went, man, no wonder people love the sound, or people because there's genuine love for what he does. Because that's how because he knows how to read his crowd. He knows his market. And then when he was saying, so I sit down and I have to go, start off with 30, 40 songs. Then I keep breaking down, and that's why I think once he came out with that mix straight out of the lockdown, that was the best way to advertise, because people it's word of mouth now. And now, when you see him, you see people from overseas saying, coming in, a week, DJ 651's going to be dropping a mix and all that, and then you see everyone, because I like how he's utilized social media is that people will show them playing it at their house or having a drink, and they tag him and it just bought this off DJ 651, and he reposts him. So it feels like the person who's bought it, he's like, oh man, the guy, the DJ who gave it to me has gone out of his way to actually acknowledge that. For sure. And I think a lot of people love knowing that, that's the case.
He looks after his clients.
That's right.
I mean, he looks after, he reads their comments, and, I had this one he showed me. It was about a lady that her mum I think she was diagnosed with cancer, and this person said that just through his music had healed some part of her life. The knowing that her mum had cancer, and when you say cancer, then death, and it just healed her. Her spirit, just through the songs, and Eddie will show us, and that gave us a indication that he really appreciated what he was doing. It was healing people you know, maybe you didn't know. I said, maybe you don't know what you're doing with your music. Maybe you're just doing it. But there are people out there that you've made an impact with, whether it's healing or whether it's just satisfaction or whether it's just whatever. You're doing something that's impacting someone's life, and that's big.
It's powerful.
That's powerful. That's powerful stuff. If you can save someone's life, you know, going through a real bad time, you know, just right there, and then the music hits them, and then they change their mind. Even that one person will mean everything. So, you know, he's really like, you know, I think he does interact with his people, and that's how he knows what they want, how to look after them, and then that's why people. You know, not like someone just put everything up and never reply to, you know, feel their fan,
right.
You know, and they just, you know, oh, I never hear back from that DJ, you know. But Eddie, I think he spends time to reply, so he interacts with his fan. I think that's what builds the fan base, say, is getting a reply back, and then you know how people are, oh wow, you replied back to me,
Yeah.
You know, so that's making an impact on someone's life when you're doing that. So you know, he takes it on board. And I think that's why he's where he is because of you know, like you said, you know, he knows what he's doing. You know, he doesn't just whip up something and then throw it out there. You know, he puts a lot of thought in it, a lot of preparation, and that's how good he's become. You know, he's discovered his own niche and his own market and his own audience, sort of thing. Yeah.
So that's the passion, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's the passion. Yeah, there's a passion.
You put so much passion into something that you love. You don't know what you're going to get back because it just comes in.
Oh, yeah.
And then next minute,
Yeah. That, you know, passion, and I always tell everyone, the passion is the key because that will drive you right to the end because that passion will always be there. You'll never fail. Because a lot of people say, okay, Dad, or my kids, or my son Ezra, how do I find my passion? You know, I said, find something that you really love doing, that you look forward tomorrow to do. Find something that you're really good at, whether you impact people with your just good with your hands, and then persevere with that. Because once you create that passion to create something, and then you persevere with that, that's gonna last you for a long time. Because that passion will never go away. You know, and when I look at myself with the art or with the music, it's the passion that I got when I was young. It's driven me right up to where I am now.
Yeah.
Same with Eddie. He came, you know, he's grown up with music, old school music. That's why he likes, you know, a lot of old school music. And he's put that on board, and he's done his own thing, and his passion's taken him to where he is. So it's the, you know, it's the passion, but it's also the perseverance, and you know, and just getting your hands on and going out there and doing it. So,
Man, you know, the other thing is just the power of music. You know, ever since every culture has some form of music or their way of how they express themselves through dance.
Yes.
And I just listening to you and your son's journey, it just shows how we sometimes we forget how powerful a song is. I mean, when you said that lady, that person read the comment about curing their cancer or curing their spirit, you know, that's the power of one key. Or one lyric, or one, you know. Yeah. So
and how it's created to you know, to soothe the heart. Because I mean, it takes a lot of thing to touch your heart, you know. But when something comes in and hits you, you know, and music is powerful. It is. I mean, when I sing, sometimes when I'm in my praising zone, I cry too because it just hits you. You know, when you see people worshiping and they're crying because it's just the moment of that, you know, that feeling of peace and joy, and that's what music can bring.
It's funny because when we talk about music, I mean, how you said it can bring you joy. There's also like the power of music covers all emotions. Because when you hear like this songs, when you hear a Tupac song, or a hard rock song, you know, that's what people work out to. You know, you don't hear someone working out to Johnny Gill, and hear them listen to AC/DC or those kind of songs. And then you've got the songs when you're just driving on a nice drive, and you've got the kind of John Denver in the background. You know, something like.
I love John Denver. Yeah.
But that's like, you know. Did you always realize the power of music? You know, when you're performing.
I did, because I could see that through people, the way they reacted to whether it was a waltz. You know, when you're singing a song. Oh, for example, Atlantic Star. You know, What's that song? Always,
Always,
you know, and
yes.
then when you
That's
play
a good
that, you know, and you see
Yeah.
people closing their eyes, you know, couples,
Yeah.
you know that they're feeling the song, you know, and then when you do songs like the twist, come on, baby, and everyone's just go, they're feeling the song, you know, it's impacting them, you know, whatever song, and if you see, you can just tell them by the outward appearance, you know, whatever's in their inwards will come out for what they do. So we got a lot of that, you know, we didn't, you know, and then you get people that just turn around and go, yeah, you know, so, yeah, that person didn't like that song, you know. So you can just tell from people's body language, reactions that this was a good song, you know. So and for us to do that, it gave us a satisfaction. Wow. So when they were hyped up, we were hyped up, and we were hyped up, they were hyped up, you know. So it worked both ways, and it comes down to knowing your crowd, knowing your music, you know, and that's how shows how good you were. You know, you don't want to sit there and then next minute you have a 15-minute break and you hear somebody say, come on, Pan. You hear a lot of that, you know, because your break's only meant to be a few minutes. You know, you do your bracket, then you have your break, have a breather, and then you're back into it. But if a band at 10-minute break, you hear, shh, Sole, copy. You know, come on, Pan, where's the music? So once you get that, then you're getting some unsettled, you know, so, but we made sure we're on top of our game. And all that sort of stuff. But like you said, music's so powerful, eh? And you can just see it through people. You don't have to discover it yourself. When you see people using that music, you know it's hitting them straight away. I mean, anyone who does do music, you know that there's,
right.
whatever music it is, you know, even the kids when they're doing they're feeling that they're nice, they're good, so they dance to it.
You know, you know how you said, like when we talk about TikTok, so all these kids that have been brought up, they all been brought up doing the same actions, you know, to the same tunes in it. But back in the days, you know, besides the twist, you know, that's one action. But everyone just used to just let rip, you know, just go crazy in it. And it feels like, I wonder that all these kids that have been brought up dancing TikTok styles, one day they're gonna go and they're gonna play Kenny Rogers and Dolly Parton. They're gonna do TikTok moves to it because they haven't learned any other. I hope that doesn't become the case because. You know, back in the days, you just used to let rip,
It was funny because, you know, when you play songs, we used to play a lot. You know, one of the crowd favorites was "Say I Love You," Renegade. You know, and you play that song, you know, and probably none of them understood the song. You know, they just like the music, and they would just do those. They do those. You see that all the time. They just, like you said, they'll just go crazy at it. You know, not even knowing what the music is. You know. And it's you know, that's what music can generate. Through people, and especially the Samoans, because you'll play songs like they couldn't understand, but they just loved it, and they'll just go, you know, they'll just do all their sign languages and all that sort of stuff. Sorry, bro.
Oh, that's all good. That's all good.
They should know I'm here on here. These guys.
Because the thing about being a businessman, you've got to be on call 24 hours, you know?
Yes, the kids were saying, Dad, when are you cooking our mamoe? You know, that's the catch of me staying home. They gave me my rules. They say, okay, Dad, you can stay home, look after the local, cook, and do whatever you want to do, but cooking, we need you to cook, Dad. They'll buy their stuff and you cook it. So that's what I do.
Oh, nice.
So they just buy whatever and I just cook it up and then wait for them to finish work and that, So that time I got come to the studio and just do my thing and So it's given me a lot. It's been good for the health too. You know,
less stress or?
No, less stress, In fact, I just came from the doctor today, so everything was, you know, I had my, you know, because I go for a 3-month check now because of my age and that stuff, So just to make sure everything is, So that's why I want to encourage the rest, you know, make sure you go to your checkup. We're getting old now. We need to look after our health, especially at that age,
I took my dad to one in New Lynn recently because it was the artery that goes from your heart through to your leg and that. And they were doing studies on that because a lot of our Pacific Island men, it was going through undetected. So, you know, we just think everything else is all right. But so it was quite funny because my dad, you know, it's quite awkward for him. He was a Balangi lady. And, you know, I was there. I was trying to translate to him because this is all like this is part of a study as well. And then it was just really good to hear that because I said to her, are our island men coming in? And she said, they're starting to come in. And that was encouraging because she said, because it was them ringing, so I'm the contact for my dad. So they rang me and said, look, we want your dad to come in. We're going to give him this 4-point test, and just so, because we're really encouraging island men to come. And then when the nurse said that, she said, look, we've really had a big push with island men. And I thought, that's good. That's awesome, because we are, like, I think island men, Samoan men, Pacific Island men, a lot of pride comes into it a lot.
That's right.
That's
right, yeah. Because we don't want to hear, hey, you got cancer. We don't want to hear that. That's why we try to ignore it.
All the signs are there.
Yeah. But it just, we need to do it. There's no doubt. We don't want to go there and the doctor say, well, you should have come six months ago, because now we can't. So with me, I had to force myself, because I was like that. You get a cough, my missus will go to the doctor. I'll never go. Because I'm just. So it was frightening when I went for my blood test to find the results. And obviously, when they ring you straight away and they text you straight away, oh, there's something, you got to come and see a doctor. And then that's a bit of worry, because you don't know what's going to happen. And then, so you go in and then you're waiting for the doctor's looking at you. Mate, you're on the borderline of diabetes. If you don't do anything now, everything else is okay. But if you don't do anything now, then you're going to be stuck. And I'm thinking, wow, right. If you start looking after yourself now, you won't have any problem. But,
but if you'd gone 3 months later,
there's something,
Eddie, his insulin, but if you'd come,
and you're so awesome. Right. And I always encourage my family, my brothers especially, go and get a checkup. Go and you don't want to fall on the ground and then take you to the hospital when it's too late. Go, you just got to bite your teeth, go for it, whatever it is. It is, but if you can, cure it before it gets worse, well, so be it. But we need to do it. Because I've got to go every 3 months now to get my checkup, and all that sort of stuff. So I've been doing, even though I drink pills, the doctor says, hey, you got to take that, and that sort of helped me sustain and everything like that. So I'm quite happy.
Because you're not only doing it for yourself, but you're doing it for
family,
for your grandkids.
That's right. I said, I want to be around my grandkids more. I mean, my family's just my grandkids are just, and I want to be around them. Be with them, do the TikTok with them. When I say, my grandson, you can, I think we'll do TikTok. We do TikTok. So it's just that I'm glad I started early in my life. I got married at 19, and I had Eddie when I was 20. So I had an early start, even though the family go, oh, man, you're not going to last long, so you start too early. So I proved all that, by catching the right bus. Saw the right bus, hopped on it. The bus came to West. And then 685. No, it was not 685. Well, I don't know. I forgot what the bus route anyway. But anyway, caught the right bus, and no regrets then. And I'm just happy with. So I've been busy. The only reason why I'm doing things now is I've just been busy providing for family. And that's why when people look at me and say, "Why are you coming with this now?" Because I said, because I've been just dedicated to my family, putting food on the table, and now they've all grown up. Now it's sort of, now I feel good about it because I know I've done my yards. They've grown up. They're doing their own thing, and now they can take care of the finances now. Where, it was only one person providing, bringing that income. Where now it's like 5 of them saying, okay, well, let's chip in, and so that's So I'm happy. I'm happy. A lot of people say, why haven't you got a house? I said, like I see it. My focus was more on bringing my kids up, and all that, because they will have their houses. They will have the opportunity to their houses. My job is just to bring them up, and all that sort of stuff. So, I mean, I did buy a house back in 1992, but even then, there's a lot of regrets and a lot of things that you've gone through and all that sort of. But nothing can take away what I have now. Exactly. What I have now, and I'm content and happy with where we are. Yeah.
That's cool what you said, because that's I think obviously priority is your family and your kids. And I know there's a whole talk about buying houses, and you read on the paper the house prices in Auckland. And you got to get your foot in the door, and you got to invest in property and all that kind of stuff. It's like So what about, yeah, we can think of that and think about being left behind if we don't get a house.
Yeah.
We just sort of like, follow everyone else.
Yeah.
Or,
it's,
or
yeah.
what's most important?
Yeah.
Bringing up your family, bringing up your kids. Or,
Everyone's got their own. Everyone's their
own.
priority. We house first.
Yeah.
All that sort of stuff. In my case was more worried about. I didn't want to go. I mean, even having 8 kids at one time was hard to go for. To buy the house that we were renting in Normandy place in Henderson. It was hard to buy because they took kids as a negative thing.
It's a liability.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The house was for $350. With what I had, I can only get a loan that was about $320, and then they'll take the kids. They say, okay, it's $20,000 a kid, so you take 8 kids off, and then what you got left, $100,000. You couldn't buy a house. So for me, it was like if I can look after my kids well, bring them up well, they'll have their houses, and all that sort of stuff. But at least bring them up, being there for them.
It will
So
come.
to
It will
me,
come,
yeah, the house will come.
You
They'll
teach
get their
them.
house, and
Yeah,
then
yeah.
I can, and then me and my wife can live with them and help them pay their mortgage.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like when you hear other people buying houses and you read the paper, and
Yeah.
so it almost tells you, oh, you got to buy a house.
Yeah. That's what
you're
yeah.
forced, so kind of like forced to get into that thing.
Yeah.
Where
And-
you don't really need to.
Yeah. I mean, you got to remember this. I mean, 30, 40 years, you could have someone. I know somebody that's worked and still paying the house off, and that's their life. Just work. What happens if they pass away? They've had no time to enjoy the rest of their life. Because they're so obligated to the mortgage. And to me, I think about all these things. I think about the time, what's important, all that stuff. I mean, you live in a house, of course, you live in a house, even if it was a rented house. I don't mind that as long as we're happy. You could have a house, you could have a mansion, but your family's all over the place. Or you can have no house, but your family's. So what is it? So people look their situation and their lives, the way that makes them happy. For me, I'm just happy. I'm just happy that my kids are happy. So that's the main thing. I don't care about a house. I don't care about that will come. That'll come in due time. But as long as So I'm just happy that my kids are always with me, even with my grandkids. I've only got one daughter in Australia, but so we've got a real, I mean, you get your family things going on, but for me, it's just like overseeing everything, and that
Having them
my
close.
kids, because we just. Any of them just live next door to us, so the grandkids just come over, So and I embrace that, and I embrace the fact that now where I am now, of my decisions I did. The Bible says what you sow is what you reap. And so I'm glad I've done those things, leading up to where I am now. So
Going back to when you first started your first business, you got $5,000 in your pocket. You got a place, and it's like there for you. Your first day, was that scary?
Very scary, because now very scary. But even though there's $5,000 in there, but it's like, okay, what do I do? I'm not going to see that wage coming in every week. If I stand here doing nothing, I'm going to get nothing. So it was scary when you're going in business for the first time. Even though you've got customers, it's a whole new world. It's a whole new scene. Because now you're relying on yourself. Now you're the one. That $5,000 is going to finish because I've got to buy some equipment, and when that money's gone, okay, when is the next dollar going to come from? What am I going to do? So all these things creep up. Sometimes you can have nightmares, not going to sleep. Think, oh man, what should I worry about where the dollar's going to come from? But at the same time, knowing what you have, knowing what people will come to you. If you're good at what you do, people keep coming. And I think that was my strength, was giving the clients what they wanted, so they'll come back. And not only they'll come back, they'll bring other people along. And that's what happened. That's what built the business, just word of mouth, just looking after people, catering for people and all that sort of stuff. So I think that was the key to my success in business, was just the word of mouth. And then helping the community as well, with the schools, bringing students in and I didn't treat it as a business. I treated it as an income, but as well as helping the community out as well. And a few people came, done well with it along the way. Like Selina and Ruse and some other some other guys. So yeah, it was good. It just gives me that satisfaction. Like I said, there's a purpose.
Yeah.
I can live, I can die, and say, hey, I've done something good. Even if it was one person I changed or helped, that I'm happy. I'm happy with that sort of thing. Yeah. So life's worth living, even though you struggled. You struggled right from the beginning. From coming from Samoa over here, you're seeing the poverty, seeing what your mum and dad what you ate. I mean, I was sharing with my kids when they go to the toaster and they go, toaster's not working. I said, put it through the oven. Oh, we don't want to use it. And they're moaning and groaning. I said, you know what we used to use? We used to butter our bread. The heater. The heater with the beam. We used to hold our bread in front of that. See the butter melt, and then we'll roll it up and eat it. That's the way we were. That's the way we grew up. And I'm so happy we grew up that way because we learned how to survive. Where the kids these days won't be able to survive, especially the Wi-Fi. Hey, Dad, what happened to the Wi-Fi? What happened to the Wi-Fi? Everyone will just come out and, even the Wi-Fi, they can't survive. So it's, generations now is different from where we grew up, I think we grew up the right, good way.
Yeah.
The disciplined way,
That's probably one thing that's good for coming out of living a struggle life in the beginning. Like, if you're poor and that, like,
oh, yes.
It gives you that sort of like resilience to overcome it. Like, if you don't want to live like this anymore, you got to do something about it. You want to try and pick yourself up. You can either do that or not do anything at all and just stick to.
Yeah. That's right. I think.
So I think it's in everyone. It's in all of us to make that decision, and it can be done if you stick to it.
Yeah, that's right. We all have choices. But you've got to be careful of what choices you make because that will affect the future. Like what you do now is gonna, what you do now is you're gonna see the results of that in the future. So if you don't do anything, well, you're not gonna get anything. If you do something, you're gonna get something. So it all starts, but it also starts with the people that's gonna inspire you, the people that you're looking at. Like for me, it was like my mum and dad, the struggles they went through, and thinking, man, I don't want my kids to go through this sort of thing. I don't want to go through this sort of thing, eating this sort of food and all that. But we survived. We survived all of that stuff. Like now, you got spaghetti, you got wadi spaghetti, you got eggs in the cupboard, you got bread. Kids go in there and they go, what's for dinner tonight? They go in the fridge. What's for dinner? That's all you hear. What's for dinner? What's for, And I'm saying, look at what you got in there. Look at the bread. Just get, and they said, nah, we don't know that.
Yeah.
They all, So that's the difference now. Where we had no choice. Whatever was there, okay, flour, water, sugar makes pancakes.
Yeah, that's right.
So that was it. Kokoresa, whatever was the cheapest. That's what we went through, and that's how we appreciated those humble beginnings, especially with our parents. And just working with my mum, because we used to wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was like for me to see my mum. And my mum used to wake me up. I say, hey, come on, let's go. We should go early in the morning. And I see my mum doing it. I said, no, this can't be right.
This can't be it.
Until I worked a bit longer, and then she finished up. So I sort of took over. So I sort of sacrificed my school because of what I saw. It was my year of school C. And I was doing well at school, even though I was naughty, but I was doing well with my work. But I when I saw my brother and my mother working and my father, they laid him off, I was thinking, no, there's about 7 kids there, and my brother was working at South Down Meats. So I thought I'd just step in and do something. So I just worked with my mum. So I've always had that heart of love to help, see there's a problem, and then trying to help. See what I can do. So it was all good. So my mum and dad now they've moved on now, and so everyone looks after their own family now. Me and my wife, we've got our own little family going. So everyone sort of focus on their own, looking after their own. So so I've achieved a lot of things that I wanted. My bucket list. Like a bus driver. I didn't know I was going to be a pastor, but I didn't know I was going to have my own church. Yeah. Didn't know that. I knew that I had the ability to teach or had the ability to do something, but not preaching. That never came across my mind. It's just something God just
Put in your heart.
put in my heart. Yeah. So I've achieved a business. In the business, some of the stuff that I wanted to do. I didn't plan on having 9 kids. Didn't plan on having that. It was after our third one, I was like, that's it. I'm like, that's it. The next minute, I'm 3 months. Okay, that was it. After that, and it just went on. And then we didn't, I was just thinking of God, how it was just, it was a blessing. So I just took it. I said, whatever comes, we'll take it. So, we ended up with 9. So, I mean, that's a blessing. That was a blessing on its own. So now when you sit with family, they surround you, and you look at your life, and you reflect, and you look at your kids and look at their kids, So and that gives you, and it just gives you that happiness, thinking, man, and you've done so, you've gained so much, and all that sort of stuff, and hence we had the church because I wanted to give back spiritually as well. Yeah, so we've been having church for the last 3 years now. So everything's going well with that.
Oh
So
man,
God has been so good,
Yeah.
bro. To me and my wife and my kids, especially with what I have. So still counting my blessings and blessing to be here too. Share,
Thank you,
share the story because people got to hear these things,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
and of what you've gone through, and what you've gained, So I hope if anyone's listening out there that find your passion. We all got passions, but it's the passion that's is the key
Yeah.
to success. And once you got your passion, it'll never fail you because that'll always,
That's the one thing I'm going to take from this is like your passion will be the fuel. It's going to
Yeah.
take you from whatever when it looks, when the times get a bit tough or when you're feeling a bit down. If the passion's there, it's always going to bring you up. And I think what's going to be amazing, what people are going to take away from this recording, because I'm taking so much from it as well, is that it's never too late.
Never too late.
Never
Yeah.
too late
Yeah.
to learn and
Never.
and because when that last bit when you're talking about seeing your being there, being surrounded by your family, I was thinking he's at you're at this peace with yourself now because everything that you've sacrificed is coming to fruition now. And you're very blessed. You're very blessed to be near your kids and your grandchildren and with the church. And when you're a man of God, man, nothing's stopping you, brother.
Can't because life is like it's a discovery, it's an adventure. You don't know what's going to happen. All for me was knowing what I had, was knowing what someone gave me something. Someone gave me a gift to sing. Someone gave me a gift to play an instrument. Someone gave me a gift to draw. It was finding that source, finding where it came from. And when I found that, just the grace and the mercy of God, that He's the only source that's given these gifts. And then when I realized that, I'm thinking, wow. So God's taking me in a journey, in an adventure, to learn all these qualities, to learn all these gifts, that one day I will use all these gifts to serve His ministry. And that's what's happened. That's what's created. And every day I praise Him. I think, thank you, Lord, for what I have. So help me share this because that's what you want. And then and then what really drives me is the family.
Yeah,
it's the family. When you see your family there, the human beings that you brought up since they were little babies. Now they've grown up, and then now they're having their little babies, and it's just being, just enjoying the moment because you're not going to be there one day. And being happy that you're at that age where you got a lot of energy, you can play with your grandchildren, and going to their rugby games and going to, and all that sort of stuff. So, so I that's what even drives me more to do more. Because I know I've got a purpose in life. I know that I've been gifted. But for me, I have to share that gift because I know that's why God's given it to me to share. Like we are tonight. And we're like what you guys are doing, you're sharing, so we're sharing to impact other people with their walk in their journey as well. Yeah.
You're a good example of someone that has built meaning in your life. because in this climate of mental health and suicides,
that's right,
you know,
bro.
I feel like, you know, people don't have that and that
Yeah.
sort of meaning in their life, whether it be being the person of God, or
Yeah.
having family, or having a career, or
Yeah.
having a passion. I
Yeah.
think a passion is the biggest thing.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
Yeah.
that's, I mean, I'm saying that because that's what's happened for me.
Yeah.
And if that, it can happen to anybody. It's just depending whether they apply it. It's just, you know, if, you know, they're going to do something with it. You know, it's either you do something with it or you don't. If you don't do anything with it, then you're going to get nothing out of it, you know. But if it's there, then use it, you know. And I know the blessings of God if you use it, because that's what He wants us to come out to share our gifts with others, so that others will be blessed. If we do that, and then we know God will continue to bless us more. We don't know how He's going to bless us, but I know for sure that He will. So yeah, so it's what you do with it. I mean, you know, life is good. You know, everyone moans about life. My life's just one, you know, and that's what causes depression. That's what, because of their own decisions, their own mistakes, their own disobedience to what they've been told. So it's their own decisions that has come upon themselves. But, you know, life, you know, the Bible says that God has given life and more, and abundance. You know, our life has got so much to live for. And if you understand that, then life is good. You know, just look around what you have, be satisfied, be happy. And if you don't do anything with that, well, you're going to live a miserable life.
And you set a good example to your kids, because Eddie's been doing.
He's
doing now what you've been doing.
Yeah,
all
and
your
I'm
life,
happy
so,
about that.
Yeah.
That I have done something that he's taken. You know, with his music, and he's created his own little thing. Yeah. So my kids got their own little things going in that. So I'm you know, we haven't got much, but as long as you got happiness and you got your family and you got the unity around you, everyone's in their own stages in their lives, but when it comes to family, when it comes to kongai, when it comes to, you know, Eddie will come to me, Dad, what do we do next week? So we have a kongai. Okay, let's have a kongai. Let's have some shared lunch and that. So everyone will come in with a barbecue or anything like that. So that's what I live for those sort of moments, because, you know, I always tell my kids, even though they were small, I said to them, embrace what you have. You know, even though you argue and you fight with your siblings, that's the way it is. But embrace what you have, because it's not going to last long. One day we're not going to be all sitting here. One day we're going to be all over the place. One day Mum and I are not going to be here. So embrace it, and, you know, and that's what's kept us going. That one day I won't be there. One day my wife won't be there. But at least they can carry on and set an example for their children to live that, you know. Yeah. So yeah, I'll you know. So whoever's listening, have a look at what you got, and have a look at the gifts that you got, and use it, you know, and use that gift to share with others, because once you do that, you'll get the satisfaction as well as that person. Yeah, and just find that passion. You know, everyone's got a passion, but a lot of people just don't. You know, they don't. You know, take it. They don't. You know, they just say, "Oh, it's something that I like doing. That's it." And then they go work for the freezing works, or go work, but they're sitting with, you know, something that they can develop to have a good job, like their own business, graphic designer, whatever. You know, they could be sitting in a gold mine by not knowing what they have, sort of thing. Yeah.
Oh, man,
Wow.
that's. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no, that's all good, bro. That's all good.
Eddie, honestly, I know, and I say this every time, and when we finish up with a guest, but the reason why we love doing this, me and Karen, is because every guest that we have come in, we're always learning from them, and it's just so good to hear stories like your one of perseverance and passion and faith, and just having, like, when you hear that, when, you know, hear the blessings that you had, having a man that, you know, a boss that believed in you, helped you. You know, these aren't just fluke occurrences or just things that just happen. These are foretold, or these were things that were always, you know, destined to happen. You know, so just having you here and hearing your passion and hearing the severs of the late 70s, early 80s, man. It's, you know, it's been an eye opener. So thank you so much for sharing your story with us. And I honestly can't wait for people to hear this, because they're going to be wondering, man, I wonder if that was my dad doing the splits. You know?
No, I just want to say thank you, guys. Thank you for this opportunity. When Eddie told me about it, I was fired up. I'm coming to the show because I knew that I had something to share. When you got a story to tell, it's good to share it, and so you never know who could be listening.
Yeah.
Never you could be someone listening. Man, I do have a gift. I'm going to try this tomorrow. You don't know.
Absolutely.
And they could tune in a couple of years. Say, I heard this podcast. You were talking about the gift. Oh, I've got my own business now. Just those sort of things. But yeah, just thank you guys for the opportunity to be here. I really enjoyed myself, and I can't wait to hear the replay. But yeah, it's been awesome, and thank you so much for the opportunity.
Before we go, what's happening for you next few months with the ET?
We've got some projects coming up. We've got a few people recording. So I'm just focused on the recording studio now at the moment. Yeah, so we're just taking it as it comes. Yeah. So if you know anyone, and that's anyone's listening, if you wanna.
One-stop shop.
Yep, come and just get in contact with me. Come on board. Don't worry about the money. We'll find the money to support you. All you got to do is bring your gift.
Yeah.
Bring your gift, and let's share that gift. To bless other people as well. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Man.
Yes.